By the sounds of it, no.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Our friends at Bud Light each year.
All right, so speaking of ages, it says people of a certain age will all be very aware of an anti-piracy ad campaign that ran for years in the early 2000s. You wouldn't steal a font. Unfortunately, famous anti-piracy campaign may have used a pirated typeface.
Oh, no way.
Man, boy.
Don't steal a font, and then they stole a font.
Yeah.
That's what we call irony.
Well, the original spot was not to pirate movies. It was you wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't steal a purse.
Yeah, but they stole a font.
They stole a font.
The ads, which had an overtly threatening aura, would question why you'd steal a movie if you wouldn't steal a car or a handbag. Well, it turns out whoever was behind that campaign may have stolen its font. A Blue Sky user who goes by Rib appears to have made the initial discovery more than 20 years on from the ads and seemingly being used on every single DVD produced for about half a decade. Wow.
Now, is there a chance that font was created for this ad and now somebody else owns it?
Oh.
No.
Okay.
No, Tyler
Okay.
shut that right down.
So we continue on by using something called Font Forge. Rib appears to have discovered that the original anti-piracy ads were using a pirated version of a font called FF Confidential rather than the original. With the unlicensed copycat, the creators opted for named X-Band Rough. Okay.
I remember one of the discussions. This was radio side back in the day. It was right after the McGregor Mayweather fight. And is that what it was? Was it Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah, the UCF and the UFC and the boxer. Yeah.
And people were showing it like people were periscoping. That's when Periscope was still alive, the actual pay-per-view. And like a surprising amount of people disagreed. I think we were all in agreement, like, yeah, that's stealing.
It's stealing.
Yeah.
But we all participated. I remember bringing this up when Army had a chance to beat Oklahoma.
That is true.
In Norman in a football opening weekend, I think. It was a pay-per-view game. Wasn't on television anywhere. Oklahoma, you had to pay to watch it.
Yep.
And it was such a good game. Army was going to beat nationally ranked Oklahoma.
Ball in hand with a chance to win, as I remember.
Ball in hand
it.
with
Yeah.
a chance to win, and somebody was streaming it online.
Stay online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, a lot to get to on the show today. A ton of college football, including the phrase that the the Tennessee football coach wants to use instead of Nico Iamaleava. We'll get to that coming up on the show. We've got some interesting NFL news. We've got more on the Bill Belichick CBS situation. New York Post now chiming in with important information that is good to know. But we'll start today with LT back with us with a little developing story today that we think LT is going to like a little bit. Yesterday, Dawn Staley had a statue unveiled. 3-time national champion at South Carolina. It did not take long for another school to announce they have a statue in the work for their national championship winning coach. Who do you think it is, LT?
It has got to be Dabo.
Wow, look at Lance.
Look at Lance. Dabo Swinney statue coming.
Of course, that's the pose, too.
Oh, I am running down the hill.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, that's probably the only time we'll ever see a coach immortalized running down a hill. I mean, he's not Steve Prefontaine.
I mean, don't you think, though, that says...
It says everything you wanted about Dabo.
I think it's a good-looking statue. I mean, I'd rather be running like that than just standing on the sidelines.
I just, it sums everything up.
I mean, is that just Flash's body and they put Dabo's head on it?
And they put too flashy of a sweatshirt because he's got the old school just Russell crew neck, doesn't he?
Kind of, yeah.
Is that real?
That's not real. It's not even a real story. It's not even a real story.
Don Staley really got one, and we were talking about it yesterday.
I had 3-1 odds you'd cuss during the unveiling of this, and you did not owe Brownie $1.
Who put that thing together?
AI.
We have
a bunch of them.
We have a bunch of them.
Listener submissions.
All right, so here's what happened on the show yesterday. We were talking about the Don Staley statue, which I think Scott's got the unveiling and the cuts. We've got to watch that because it was super awkward.
Okay.
We were talking about the Don Staley issue or statue, and one of Dunaway's 4-down questions was which is the next coach to get a statue?
Yeah.
And we discussed it.
I went Bruce Pearl. He went Gino at UConn.
I went Gino Auriemma.
And EG went
Dabo Swinney. And we were like, oh, God, if Lance was here.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about, let's see if we can fool Lance with him having a statue, Dabo having a statue of him running down the hill.
Because Brown says 100% what he's not doing right now is watching this segment.
I knew you weren't watching
I
this
was
segment.
about to say, I wonder if I was listening or watching.
Your response makes it feel like somebody gave you the heads up. It was not the over the top.
Yeah,
I
we
thought
wanted you to go, no, that is BS.
I swear to God on my kids, nobody gave me a heads up. I completely guessed Dabo Swinney.
I probably went to it way too soon. I should have done something else first.
Just because you guys played on, I knew it would be somebody I didn't like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So here's some of the ones that people submitted. Tell me if you like them better. We picked the one. Scott, I think Scott did the one we showed.
He did.
All right, that was Scott.
Good job, Scotty.
Yeah. There was one.
I sort of like that one too.
He's kind of leading the team. That's almost like leading a team out of a tunnel right there. That one.
That one. I mean, he's always got a hat on. I was like, look at the receding hairline in that one.
Yeah, if he had a hat, that one would have had a better chance of making it in.
Yeah. I mean, I would have believed that Dabo got a statue. What was unbelievable was the hoodie and him running.
Yeah. There's old Dabo running down the hill.
Yeah, that's like old man Dabo.
That's not a bad one. Yep.
I hope he doesn't trip. That one was good. Yeah. I like that one.
Bring your own guts.
Yep. I just don't understand why AI thinks the upper deck there at Death Valley is so thin.
A little narrow.
Yeah,
a little narrow
there.
Yeah, that's like a house on 38.
Yeah. And look at that steep incline on the hill there at Clemson on that one.
So it's not that steep. I haven't been there. You've been there.
I don't think a human. You need to have NASCAR at Talladega to stay on that.
Yeah, I don't know if Greg can battle a pitch. Greg from Pell City can battle a pitch like that.
Yeah, he'd need ropes and stuff. Is that all of them for us? Yeah.
So our audience got involved. We appreciate them.
I think Gino's a good call, but I think Dabo will be the next with the statue.
You think he'll get a statue?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Auburn's kicking him out pretty quick.
Dunaway said Pearl.
I said Pearl.
I mean, if he retired tomorrow, they would go ahead and put the works.
I mean, deserving of a statue, but again, hasn't won a national championship, so I think they probably wait until he is done.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's also interesting how quick AI can come up with. I mean, that's a realistic looking. Statue there of Dabo Swinney.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah,
that probably looks better than the statue if they actually put one together of what it would look like. It looked more like Dabo than the statue actually would look like.
I think with AI, and this would be impossible. This is a kind of a catch-22 situation. If people didn't have the technology to Google, we could do a full 3 hours on AI and sell people on different things.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Forrester, can you do a Nick Saban statue and
make it not look like Andy Griffith?
I mean, would it look better than the Nick Saban statue at some point today?
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I made a couple of Bruce Pearl ones yesterday.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's see those.
Come back to me in a second.
Okay, we'll come back to him in a second. Why don't we get going here today? Our statue conversation being brought to you by our friends at Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. One thing I'll tell you about Alexander Shunnarah, he's a local guy. Went to school here in town. He built all of this dynasty that he built right here in the state, just like Nick Saban and Bear Bryant did. They built a dynasty right here in the state of Alabama.
Yeah, for 24 years he's operated right here in the state of Alabama, and he's grown an incredible practice to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members, and they've recovered more than $2 billion. And one thing Alex wanted to do was create a firm that could handle any issues community face. So they not only now handle personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com. To Lance's point, I thought the video of the guy falling out of the stands last night was AI. That looked fake.
I thought it was like a stuffed dummy or something, because there's no way you can flip from 20 feet like that. I guess there is.
I guess there
because
is.
It's
It
legitimate
happened,
now.
but it looked fake, honestly.
I mean, what's the latest update? Still critical condition on that guy?
Critical condition for him. They play again this afternoon. Pittsburgh does. But for those that missed that story, what Brown's talking about, a fan fell 21 feet off the Clemente wall last night in the 7th inning. Critical condition, life-threatening injuries. Left the field on stretchers, and no update on that. And we won't show you the video.
No, but it did look fake is my only point there. Like, if you'd have told me that's fake video,
I watched it like 15 times.
I know, it's hard to believe.
It just doesn't look real at all.
Yeah. I do like the Staley statue.
Okay.
I haven't seen.
You haven't seen it, and you haven't seen it.
So the likeness
right?
is really good.
Am I right, Jim? You haven't seen it?
I have not seen it, no.
Now, unfortunately, well, I don't know if the likeness is good. I just like where they went with it. Now, unfortunately, the unveiling is a little bit awkward.
Does she have like her Louis on?
No, you'll just have to. I don't know. I haven't
Eagles
looked
jersey?
close enough.
See, if I'm a basketball coach, I'd like to. I mean, if we can do really cool statues, I'd like to be in a huddle drawing up a play.
Okay.
Or if I've won 3 national championships, I'd like to be holding up the trophy with fake confetti.
This would have been a legitimate question until you saw the rendering of Nick Saban. But, do coaches have, any input on the statue? I would say yeah until you saw Nick Saban's.
Yeah, I would say if Bill Belichick gets one at North Carolina, somebody will have input on it. But Brown wants to
you would
do
have
this.
you'd have Jordan on his shoulders, right?
Let's go.
That should be the statue. Him holding her up on the airplane on the beach.
Chicken fight.
Yeah.
Cut number 3, Tyler. This is Dawn Staley's statue unveiled. Brownie, walk us through this. What's happening here?
So we're going to do the countdown. We're going to unveil it, Tyler. Here we go. We're going to do the countdown.
Going to count down from 10. So let's get ready.
Maybe not from 10. Let's maybe start at 3.
9, 8,
I mean, is this Times Square?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Guess what? We still can't see the statue. Where's it at, the guy says. All right, so we've counted
This is so South Carolina.
I mean, boy, did they botch this for their best coach of the history of their school. Now we move the Carolina flag. I mean, as far as statues go, her on a ladder holding up a net, I think is a creative statue.
I'm confused with the hat, though.
Here's the look over here now of the actual statue.
I guess it's like one of those championship hats. Yeah.
And she wears a hat occasionally.
Yeah.
And so do I.
I mean,
Will your statue have one?
I hope not.
The net is just hanging in the sky, and it's a ladder. What's the big ladder company for the NCAA tournament? Did
Warner.
They pay? Did Warner pay for the
That's a
statue?
good question.
Does it have that on the side of it?
Yeah,
I'd want to sponsorship this out.
It looks like she's holding like a thing of seaweed. I've never seen the net as part of the statue either.
Yeah, now I applaud the
creativity,
but the execution, I'm not gonna celebrate that. I mean,
the execution was awful.
Her on the ladder, not a fan.
Oh, you don't like that? Okay,
No,
so
I'd
you
li-
just prefer her just standing there like Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, I'm just noticing the ladder now.
Are you really?
Yeah, I was so focused on the statue.
Yeah, no,
now I'm
I'd-
looking at the shot over here that forced her.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the one on the right, so
Yeah.
I really.
Oh, you didn't know? I see now
Yeah.
how you missed it. Yeah, so she's up on a ladder. She's just cut
She
the
doesn't
net.
wear pantsuits, does she?
Yeah, she does.
What she wears
Like
like
she wears dresses when she's
no,
coaching?
she wears a lot of times she wears those like velour.
She does have joggers sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I've only seen 2 South Carolina games maybe in my life,
Yeah.
but I've never seen her dressed like that.
Well, I mean, I would have gone drawing up play or something. That'd
Okay.
be a good one if you have
Yeah.
a couple other actual player statues.
I think this is a
dummies.
flex on how many championships.
Oh,
right?
there's no
Won
doubt
3.
that's what that is,
That's
yeah.
how you get a statue. Statue talk right here to start the show. We'll get to some of the other headlines here, brought to you by our friends at Odie's, where last night, LT, the question was...
This is the first time in the history of man this question has ever been asked.
Lance thinks he's asked a question for the first time. You ruled, Dunaway.
What came first, Travis Scott or the fall of the Berlin Wall?
You think that's the first time it's ever been asked in society? I would think so.
I think so.
I don't think anybody compares those two.
Travis Scott, the singer, rapper, 35, 36,
Turned
37.
34 yesterday.
Oh, Tyler
34.
helping you.
All of the Berlin Wall was 92, right?
No,
Or
Reagan
91.
years. 92 is Clinton. I'd go Berlin Wall. Bush was after Reagan. I'm going to say Fall of the Berlin Wall was 86.
I had it at 87.
Maybe 87.
That's what
So
I
I
had.
remember this specifically. I was telling Brown last night. It was the first time I'd ever been drinking on Bourbon Street because dude was walking down the middle of Bourbon Street with USA Today. The wall's falling.
Yeah.
He was so excited about it.
Were people fired up for him?
Travis Scott yesterday, April 30th, 1991. Berlin Wall, November 9th of 1989. So the Berlin Wall
That was a
came
little early.
first.
I thought it was 87.
I thought it came down while Reagan was in office, but I guess it was when Bush was in office.
Yeah, these are the little things you learn every Wednesday night at Odie's Team Trivia. Make sure you come out, join us at the original location in Crestline. You get out there every single day for the great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, live music on Fridays and Saturdays nights. Great place to watch NBA playoff action. Won't be watching any more of the Lakers out on that patio, but drop in to one of the two locations today, Crestline, Edgewood, Birmingham Institution. It's Odie's Tavern.
Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. That's where you go for Johnston RV Center. They've got a price range really for everyone. Starting as low as $129 a month with approved credit, you can find something that can take you across America to see our great country, right? Everything from the toy haulers to the tow behinds, the fifth wheels to the motorhomes right there at Johnston RV Center. You're covered with a warranty, lifetime warranty forever on anything that is new or qualifying pre-owned. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
All right, Forrester with the Bruce Pearl statues. Before we get into what we saw last night in the NBA, there's Bruce outside of Neville Arena. It's
not bad.
It's actually a good-looking backdrop and everything.
AI does better statues than man. That's one thing AI is better at is doing a statue.
Bruce Pearl there with...
That looks a little like him.
Yeah. The hair looks more John Calipari or somebody else.
Face maybe our buddy Jim Carson a little bit more than Bruce
Yeah,
Pearl.
a little bit.
Carson's
You have
big
a second. You have a second
You're
one.
right about that. That is Carson.
You have a second one? Yes. No. Yes. No second one.
No,
That's
that was it.
Best one. I like it. Does it say the jungle outside of Neville Arena?
No, I don't believe it.
Again, AI, you got to accept with AI sometimes. Like,
Grok takes some liberties with
Yeah.
what you're trying to do.
I mean, they had a terrible upper deck for Clemson.
By the way, Neville Arena looks bigger in AI than it does in real life. That looks like a big, huge arena.
Wow, that little shot at Auburn.
No, I'm just saying. That looks like a huge arena.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
they're
Brown's
expanding.
right.
By the time they get the statue, maybe they're expanding. All right. Last night, Mr. COVID had a Hall of Fame year. Rudy Gobert, 27 points, 24 rebounds. Minnesota eliminates the L.A. Lakers. It's the first time ever in the long history of the L.A. Lakers that they've been a number 3 seed or better and been eliminated in the first round. Disappointing finish to the Lakers.
Yeah, look, the Lakers, if you grade year one J.J. Redick, disaster. You can say what you want about the regular season. Lakers don't play for the regular season. This is a team that's won 17 championships, only second behind the Boston Celtics, and they got embarrassed in the 4 losses. They lost by an average of 11 points. They had no answer for Gobert, 14 points in his first 4 games, and then last night, as you said, goes 27, 24 rebounds, 12 of 15 shooting. And look, there just wasn't an answer in the paint. And that's what's unfortunate if you're a Lakers fan. When you tried to get the deal done with Mark Williams and that thing fell apart, you would have had a legitimate big. But, the word was before the game, J.J. Redick was pissy with reporters. I don't know if you guys heard the comments.
He walked off, didn't he?
He walked off. Reggie Miller said it on the broadcast that the pre-meeting had to calm J.J. Redick down. A lot of the reporters, they described the behavior as childish. This is just a bad look. LeBron James at 40 years old has a player option next year for $52 million and change. He's got to exercise that in June. I don't really know what happens to the Lakers moving forward. Good for the T-Wolves. They were a pretty heavy dog coming into this series. Most people believed the Lakers would win it in 5 or 6. Lakers get embarrassed.
Yeah, it's a chance for Anthony Edwards to really move forward with this Minnesota franchise. First time they've won playoff series in back-to-back years in their history.
Yeah, and who had Anthony Edwards going 0 for 11 behind the arc last night? They were 7 of 47, and they still win comfortably on the road to eliminate the Lakers.
Well, that's how you get 24 rebounds if you're Rudy Gobert. You're catching them off the rims when they're missing 3-pointers.
It really did look like, Little League, where you have one guy that's like 6 feet and all the other 12-year-olds are like 5'2". I mean, Lakers couldn't get a rebound last night.
And this outcome doesn't justify the trade. It doesn't make the trade any better.
No, you build around Luka next year. You'll
Right.
LeBron
No,
walk and you
tell
rebuild
me,
it.
tell me the biggest fan out there wasn't Nico Harrison for the Mavericks.
Because what showed up in this series is what the Mavericks say privately they didn't like about Luka. That while he's a tremendous player, is he a little bit lazy on defense, Lance?
Well, I don't know. I think he's just
He's
kind
not
of
very good at it.
Well, yeah, he's just. I mean, his lateral movement, like
Yeah.
when he's got ball in hand, some of the things that he does, pretty incredible. Again, he looks like 40-year-old dude with a cigarette in his mouth doing them.
Yeah.
But defensively, that lateral movement. I mean, he's just
not really good
He's just not
defensively.
really good
Yeah.
defensively. Yeah, and then that's the problem. And the Lakers, the defense was absolutely awful. They don't have a big. They couldn't do anything in the paint. Didn't matter if they won this series or not. They weren't going to do anything.
LeBron non-committal about what his future holds.
Retire.
Could go somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
And he could. And it becomes the importance of the Luka trade then is the rebuild.
That's right.
Well, I think what's also interesting, if LeBron's gone, what's the future of J.J. Redick?
Good point. Not a good way to go out for him right there last night. Houston beat Golden State. Golden State threw in the towel in the third quarter there to rest players for a Game 6, which will be tomorrow night in that series. Golden State still leads it 3-2. Golden State hoping to finish off the higher seed Rockets there. Knicks, Detroit tonight. Knicks up 3-2, 6:30 TNT. Nuggets and Clippers tonight back in L.A. Nuggets up 3-2, looking like a championship Nugget team in their last win. 9 o'clock on TNT, the doubleheader tonight of those two games. If the road teams win, those series are over. If the home team wins, we get Game 7s in both of those series as the NBA playoffs continue on. We've got some video of a couple of guys getting ready for the NBA Combine coming up, which is May 11th through the 18th. That includes Tahaad Pettiford and Texas's Trey Johnson. They're working out together in Santa Barbara. And I want you to, this is 70 seconds of video, 70 seconds, and it's totally unedited. One thing, and it's not AI. One thing you'll notice, this is Trey Johnson at the left end of the floor, if you're listening on the radio dial, to our left. And
So
then
we're watching Trey right now.
This is Trey. And then
Okay.
to the right, in the T-shirt shooting left-handed, is Tahaad Pettiford. And one thing you'll notice in this 70-second piece of video, not AI generated, is that the ball never misses the net. It is always in the sack. Nobody misses a shot in this unedited 70 straight seconds of video that this guy who stumbled in to camp.
Is there sound on the video?
There is just audio.
But they're not shooting at the same time, right? Are they going-
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm just wondering if the other side, he's just doing a really good rotation of
Yeah.
not getting their misses on there.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
that would be luck, but
Yeah.
it's
So Tahaad's filling it up. I don't care about Trey Johnson as
and
much.
Trey's filling it up as
Yeah.
well.
From NBA, too. I mean, that's NBA threes.
We had Richard Hendricks on the show yesterday, and Richard says 6'1" is where he tops out size-wise, which is small in the NBA, but
I
plays
don't think he's 6'1".
plays bigger. I got the feeling Richard doesn't believe he's 6'1" either.
Didn't he say that point blank? He's
Yeah.
like, the game I did looking at him on the floor, he did not look 6'1" to
Yeah,
me.
but 6'1" would be the top.
Well, I
he
mean,
would
will
say.
that not be the tell-all right there? I mean, when they actually give the official measurement, if it's under 6 feet, he's probably like going back and hoping I'm going to grow an inch.
Yeah, well, I mean, is there still a chance you can grow an inch at 19?
Yeah, maybe. Who was it? David Robinson. David Robinson, when he came to
I'd love to
Naval
see
Academy.
Tahaad as a 5.
Huh?
I'd love to see Tahaad as a
Yeah,
5.
no, he'd be a heck of a 5.
Anthony Davis continued to grow
Yeah.
up until he was like 18.
No,
I mean,
I saw-
most people are done by then, but you never
But
know.
I think the Admiral, didn't he grow like 8 inches at Navy?
Yeah, because that was because remember they were like, you're too big, and he still went through with his commitment to the
Yeah.
Naval
Yeah, 'cause
Academy.
he was in submarines. That's what he wanted to do.
Well, that's right.
And when
That's
he
why he
first
went
got
to
to
Navy,
the
yeah.
academy, wanted to work on a submarine, and then
I think he was like 6'3" or 6'4" at the
growth
time.
spurt.
Yeah.
You
Hit him in college,
At
and he
that
became
point, couldn't be in a submarine.
became a dominant player in the NBA.
I just thought it was interesting that, I mean, Pettiford, the reason he's going to the combine is because he can score points. He can fill it up.
He can. Look, I mean, if I were giving advice, I'd tell both he and Philon to come back. I mean, Philon has left the door open now. Pettiford had left the door open from the beginning. I think I would tell them both to come back because I do think size is not as much an issue with Philon right now.
No, he has NBA size.
He's got the
if
size
you
to play the one.
If you switched their size, I think Pettiford would be top 20 pick.
Yeah. But, I mean, would you say that there is potential? I'm not saying it will happen if they come back. But if size is not an issue, that both these guys could potentially play their way into the lottery?
If size is not an issue, yes.
So if size is not you know the size, right? So if size is not an issue, I would advise both of them, go back and make good college money. That is guaranteed money, by the way.
That's right.
The second round is not guaranteed money. All of a sudden, college money is guaranteed. They got to pay you that. Go do that. Let's see if you grow a little bit. Play your way into the lottery. I mean, that lottery money is going to be really, really good money, and it's going to be guaranteed. That would be my advice.
Yeah, I would think if Sears had Philon's size, Sears, he's a first-round guy. I don't know if he's lottery.
Yeah. Interesting to see the guys working out there in Santa Barbara getting ready for the Combine May 11th through the 18th, and you have to make a decision 3 or 4 days after that whether you're staying in the draft or going back. And at some point, we'll hear if Pettiford will be part of that Auburn roster that is trending towards being a preseason top 10 team. A good read if you follow the Field of 68, part of their podcast on Alabama, putting together a roster different than last year without star power, but with some pieces that they believe could make for a really good team in Tuscaloosa. You can see all that with the Field of 68 there this morning. A couple more things to get to in the opening segment right after Brownie tells us about our friends at Lake Fest.
Hey, it is Logan Martin Lake Fest. Tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. May 1. We're going to be out at Buffalo Wild Wings, Pell City, hanging out for a couple of hours with you out there. We'll be live. So set your alerts so you know that we're going live there, and join us at 5 o'clock. That's when we're going live. It's 5 o'clock. We'll be hanging out for a couple of hours there live on our video channels. So wherever you are, make sure you join us at 5 o'clock and come join us in person at Buffalo Wild Wings, Pell City, right there off I-20 as we celebrate Lake Fest coming up next weekend, the 9th through 11th. Logan Martin Lake Fest. This is the 15th time they have done this. Presented by Am First, and you can be a part of it because it's totally free. It is Bama's biggest in-water boat show. 80 boats and vehicles on display, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, live music all weekend long there. Tons of giveaways. Friday night, they're going to do fireworks honoring our great United States veterans. Mermaids and Mateys Parade on Saturday. Free mimosas for Mom on Sunday. LoganMartinLakeFest.com for all the info there. For the first time in the history of Lake Fest, Am First is offering a 0.5% off interest rates. That could save you $100 a month and up to $12,000 over the life of the loan. See more, LoganMartinLakeFest.com. That is LoganMartinLakeFest.com. And join us tonight, 5 to 7, Buffalo Wild Wings, Pell City, just off I-20 there, celebrating Lake Fest.
More than any active athlete in any sport anywhere in the world, Michael Jordan earned more money in 2024 than any active athlete anywhere in the world. More than Aaron, more than Shohei, more than Juan Soto.
What's crazy is
more than anybody, more than Christian, $40 million more dollars than Cristiano Ronaldo.
It blows me away. And the F1 guys. Those guys make absolute
What
bank.
is his percentage right now with Nike?
I don't know.
Like, how does that work?
Must be huge.
Michael Jordan made $300 million in 2024. His Jordan brand sales last year was $7 billion. He gets a big percentage of that. And
$7 billion.
$7 billion. The closest active athlete to Jordan's earnings was Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's $40 million less. So Ronaldo pulled in $260 million, still active playing soccer at the end of his career there, which is an amazing number in itself. But $300 million from Jordan, and I forget the record number that he's been the top earning athlete, but it's a long run now. It's a dynasty of him being the top earning athlete in the world.
This is one of the reasons me and Jeeves were all over Phil Knight on a 4 downs, and I don't remember who we went against, who Phil Knight was up against.
Was it Phil Jackson? Maybe?
No.
I think it may have been.
No.
I'd have gone Phil Knight on that one.
I mean, it might have been somebody like Bill Gates. I don't know. It was somebody very significant, and we were just like, I mean, worldwide, Nike sales are just absolutely insane, and that shows it right there. Jordan making $300 million.
Does Ronaldo make?
That's why he likes to gamble. By the way, you can't spend that kind of money.
Well, you know, there were rumors. I don't know that it was ever officially reported, but there was a lot of talk that one of the reasons he sold the Bobcats when he sold them, whatever it was,
before it was the Hornets,
that he had gotten tangled up in the GameStop situation and had lost a bundle of money there and had to sell them to make that right.
Yeah.
Oh, if I was guessing, he's lost 9 figures gambling.
Yeah, well,
that's a lot.
If you check his net worth,
Oh, I would
right
feel
now.
really good about that.
Check his net worth. His earnings, adjusted earning, inflation adjusted earnings. They said in this story that it was $4.16 billion has been his adjusted earnings to inflation. What's his net worth right now?
I've got his net worth at $3.5 billion.
$3.5 billion.
Yeah, I mean, I would think as far as just pure entertainers, has anybody made more than him? And I'm talking about in music. I'm talking about movies.
What's Taylor Swift's net worth? Is she a billionaire yet?
Yeah,
She is a billionaire, but she's not $3.5 billion.
Yeah, she's just 1B.
Well, and if
I
he's
don't know
made
how you spell
over,
billionaire more than 1B.
if he's made
That
over
too.
1.6 for T Swift.
How much?
1.6.
Wow. She'll catch him soon.
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, is
dude.
Nike going away?
Yeah, I don't think Jordans are just gonna stop
Well,
selling.
he'll die at some point.
No, he
I think she'll
will.
outlive him.
But like her, I would think she's probably. I mean, how old is she now? 37.
Yeah, and probably has a gap coming up where she's going to shut it down for 2 or
35.
3 years.
Was that
35.
35.
T-Swift.
Yeah. I would tell you this, that Jordan this year, Brownie, 2025, they're about to launch Jordan brand golf gear. They're getting back in the golf apparel.
Yeah, they've got a couple PGA Tour players that wear it.
Yeah, so this is supposed to be a big extra boost to his pocket with the Jordan
what he
brand
needs.
apparel. So,
Wouldn't
yeah.
Wouldn't you think, though, if Taylor Swift took a 5-year hiatus and came back for her 40th and did like some massive double album, an Essentials album, world tour, that she would really crush that? And there's no way she could be that patient because she likes to crank them out every year.
She loves to work and loves to tour. She usually takes a year off, but this tour went on longer, and it was a massive tour. So it's going to be hard to top that, but I'm sure she'll try to do that. Just amazing with Jordan. We'll end this segment with a little sad news. You guys know our love for Wimp Sanderson and his wife, Annette. And Miss Annette passed away yesterday. Alabama basketball sending out the release, letting the world know that Annette Sanderson, Miss Annette, as they say, sweet, kind, loving person. And I know our interactions with her are absolutely the same. We kid Wimp all the time about how, that face he makes at officials and us, and how he can be a little rough on the edges. She was absolutely the polar opposite of him. Always kind, always smiling. One of the most loving people you'd ever meet. And our hearts just hurt for Wimp because we know how important she was to him, and how much he cared for her. And the kids, the whole Sanderson family, we're all thinking of them today.
I saw Wimp about a month and a half ago, and obviously we knew she had been in poor health, and I just asked him about her, and she was just not doing well. So it was very unfortunate that was the way her final years were lived out here, because as Jim said, Lance, this was a sweetheart of a person right here, man.
She was incredible. We went over there, all of us, multiple times for dinner.
Yeah.
We had dinner with the Sandersons, and it was always the sweetest. I mean, she was kind of the opposite as far as...
Yeah, if you believe opposites attract, that was a pretty good example there.
Yeah, and hard to believe, married for 67 years, meeting at Coffee High School. I guess if you do the math, they met in the early to mid-50s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really sad. 86, seems like you live a really good, full life, ton of grandkids, ton of kids, and to be able to be together for almost 70 years, I mean, that's a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Wimp, we're thinking about you and the boys and the whole family there. And Miss Annette was one of a kind. And as I told people last night, and they'll say the same thing about Maggie when she passes. Trumpet sounded because putting up with Wimp all these years, special place in heaven. Special place in heaven for Miss Annette. When we come back, we'll get back to your sports headlines. This is The Next Round.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the Refresh collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
We'll get to the Michelson viewing menu coming up here in just a second when LT jumps back in with us here. But Brownie, I wanted to talk to you really quick about baseball coming to the Bristol Raceway. Remember last year we had that great game in Rickwood, right?
We did, yeah, the Rickwood Classic, and we were told that night by some people kind of around it that they were in Bristol the next year. I was like, Bristol Motor Speedway, huh? I've seen football in there.
That's right. So here's the rendering of the way baseball will look at Bristol's Raceway coming up. The big oval there, it's the Braves and the Reds that'll be playing there. That's the baseball setup.
It kind of fits better than football did, really.
Well, it really does, yeah.
It looks good right there. You just wonder what it's going to look like. I mean, are they trying to break a record or something?
You see
biggest crowd ever.
They're putting in seats on that end of the track there to sort of make it baseball. It's going to look a lot like a normal baseball game to me. No, those outfield seats are.
Boy, you're a long way away from the action there.
Yeah,
I think that's the point. Like a lot of people that go to Talladega or go to Bristol to watch a race.
Yeah,
they're like, "Hey, we're here. Doesn't really matter."
Yeah. Well, Bristol being such a short track, you're on top of it NASCAR terms compared to Talladega, where it's 2.66 miles, and sometimes you're looking at the cars that are literally a mile away from you. That's a short track, but in baseball terms, it does fit better, Brownie. You're right, in baseball than it did in football. Football, I don't think they had a good seat in the house.
It didn't seem like it.
Because I don't remember them doing the temporary seats like they're doing for the baseball there. I think they just relied on the stadium seats there, if I remember correctly. And that was Tennessee, Virginia Tech, right? That
it
played
was.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of neutral 50% distance from each of those campuses. So Braves and Reds coming up in Bristol. I was out at Rickwood recently. I think they're pretty confident that Major League Baseball is coming back there maybe as soon as next year.
Well, Buster was campaigning to make it permanent.
Yeah.
Do one game a year there.
Yeah, they had already committed
to Bristol.
Bristol before they realized how well received the Rickwood and the tribute to the Negro baseball leagues, how well that played and how well it looked and how the major leaguers embraced it all. So maybe a big announcement from Rickwood coming up here pretty soon. Viewing menu, we'll get to a little pro football focus All-American college football team at the top of the hour. But right now, our viewing menu brought to you by the great folks at Michelson Laser Vision.
Yeah, make the phone call that I made over 2 decades ago, 205-969-8100, michelsonlaservision.com for more information. Ask for Amy, very important. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Got a couple new releases in theaters tonight. First off, the one I'll be seeing right after I finish Meltdown, Thunderbolts, the new Marvel release. It's a team of anti-heroes made up of the new Black Widow, played by Florence Pugh, Bucky Barnes, Red Guardian, Ghost, Taskmaster, and the U.S. Agent, as they go on a dangerous mission that forces them to confront the darkest corners of their past.
So I've heard of none of those.
Oh, I've seen the trailer to this.
Mm-hmm.
When you say when you say anti-heroes, like Brown says, he's never heard of any of those. Me either. Does that mean they're not evil? Anti just means they're sort of
they're like the JV team.
Yeah, like misfits
of the Avengers.
So
misfits that are called into action to save the world.
Typically, anti-heroes are just like, they'll do the right thing, but they don't have like a moral code or anything. But in Marvel movies, anti-hero just means hero that swears, and that's it.
So they got a salty tongue.
They cannot write anti-heroes. I hope this one is good, because if not, it's just gonna sour Marvel even more, and they need to have a good summer, or else theaters might die.
Yeah, it seems like a bunch of sarcasm, which I'm all about. I like David Harbour, but the trailer looks awful.
So
the trailers
I've seen awful, but I've heard good things.
You just said like the life of some theaters are resting on Marvel getting a good summer going?
Yes. Thunderbolts is less important, but in July there's...
Please tell me a new Spider-Man.
No, unfortunately not. I'm waiting on a new Spider-Man as well.
Come on, you can't release Spider-Man every other year.
There's a Fantastic Four, which is important to the future of Marvel, and then there's also Superman, which needs to be a big movie, or else DC Studios will have to restart again.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. So the show The Studio, I don't know if you're still watching on Apple.
I am. I haven't seen the latest.
But yeah, the latest one I watched last night, and it basically is so satirical, but it's so true, because Seth Rogen, who's the head of this studio, Continental, which is obviously a fictional studio, is talking about the battle to get people into the theaters. And, everybody, all they do is talk about TV. I mean, wherever he is, everybody's talking about TV because it's the golden era of TV. And we just recently saw a theater by us. It was open for 30-plus years. It shut down. And more so when they go into it on the studio, they talk about how bad the movies are. Like, they have these pitches, and they're all serious about it. And it's like, this is the 4th sequel, but really number 2 it came after 3. It was between. Everything's so confusing. Everything is so bad. And that's the problem you've got if there's these studios. You're cranking out all these movies, but it's no good material. And then if you're at home, you can sit there on your couch and you can watch great television, or even stream most of these movies 2 weeks after. So long story short, I think they're predicting what most people predict, which unfortunately will be the demise of the theater one day.
Yeah, which sad is it sort of that way with brick and mortar stores, so to speak, because I went over, I had to dress in a blackout for my nephew's soccer game the other night, and I was on my way from here to play golf, and I did not know it was a blackout until I was on my way to Bent Brook, and I had to jump over to a sporting goods store over where Baumhauer's used to be.
Well, that's dedication. I would have kept going whatever color I'm wearing.
in that little area, and so I was driving in there. It's over near our sponsor, Twin Peaks, a little sporting goods store there, and I jump over there, and there's Twin Peaks, there's that sporting goods store, there's a menswear store, and a theater, I assume that's still open, and then every other store.
Is that what you bought?
Nope, this was a different one. But every other store is empty. And there's just so many empty stores in places like that.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that place isn't renewing or signing new leases to anyone.
You talking about Pat Creek?
Yep.
Well, I think Lee Branch, same.
Yeah.
So that's to me is
we might have overbuilt in that craze right there. If I had to guess.
I think we probably did. I don't think COVID did it any favors.
No,
at all.
it did not. But I think maybe you had overbuilt already.
Well, it's just like I needed some. I do these non-nicotine, fully loaded dips that have some caffeine and some good things for my brain. That's in a little pouch when I play golf, and I needed to order that again. I don't know if they even sell them in stores, but I jumped on Amazon, and honestly, we ordered them at 8 o'clock at night. And when I got home from work the next day at 12 o'clock, the package was waiting on my doorstep. And that's less than 24 hours.
No, I know. It's hard to beat.
And it was there. And that's why, I mean, the theaters are suffering the same thing that a lot of brick and mortar stores are suffering, sadly.
Yeah, the issue with the theaters, though, is if they go under, there's not going to be any new movies that aren't Netflix.
And that's bad because they don't have the same budget.
Yeah. Oh, well,
you'll have Amazon
not even the
Prime will
same
do
budget.
movies.
Netflix will dump money into these movies.
They're
that
all
are
shitty
just,
movies, though.
They're abysmal.
Have you seen Havoc yet? I haven't seen it, but I heard it's terrible.
I don't plan on watching it.
But wouldn't Universal and all them just make the movies to go straight to streaming?
No, because there's no way you can ever make your money back.
Wow.
Where they'd either be making basically student film level stuff or having to go to like an a la carte thing where you get this new release if you do like the premium video on demand.
Yeah, but let me ask you, let's just say randomly Universal decided, or Marvel decided to do their own channel. Because we've got FanDuel's got their own channel. I guess you guys noticed that. They were running promos during Lakers T-Wolves last night.
That's Disney Plus.
Okay. But Disney Plus has never done this, have they? Like, they produce and they come out with a new movie, and for the new release for the first month or two, you charge $25. I mean, I just paid $20 the other night to rent Black Bag. So I think people are paying $25, but if you did that for a month and a half, maybe you could recoup some of that.
They did try that during COVID. It didn't work very well.
But if you don't have the option to go into the theater, I would think
theaters are dead. You never know what people will do.
Yeah.
Well, my thinking is just people will stop watching new movies.
What would this be for you, though, with because you are, like, we can all watch movies from the house, and I'm completely fine with that. You love the experience. Would this be like losing your favorite major league team out of, they're contracted out of your city?
I guess so. I mean, I guess it'd be more like the sport, your favorite sport no longer exists.
Oh, crap. Like they shut the NFL and college football down?
The NFL down.
I mean, if they're not making new movies, though, that'll even hurt you.
Yeah, I just don't think that's ever a thing. I think it's more independent films, smaller budgets, which I don't
still need somebody to distribute and exhibit them.
Yeah.
They'll figure this out.
You had one more release. What is it?
And then the other theatrical release is a Nick Cage movie called The Surfer. A man returns to the idyllic beach of his childhood to surf with his son. When he is humiliated by a group of locals, the man is drawn into a conflict that keeps rising and pushes him to his breaking point. So
we've never seen this Nick Cage before.
We've never seen Nick Cage just go absolutely bonkers in a movie before.
You saw Mandy, right?
I think I have.
Yeah.
And then
finally, I'm convinced he doesn't read a lot of scripts.
No, he just asks, how weird can I be during filming? And they say, you can be as weird as you want. He goes, I'm in. And then finally, if you don't want to go to the theaters tonight, Amazon Prime has added the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, so you could spend a good 11 or 12 hours just watching
There's
those.
my weekend.
There you go.
Kidding.
That is what Tyler's watching, brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. The show today also being brought to you by our friends at Gutter Cap LT.
823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. Look, spring weather is here. Weekend's almost here. You got to do some spring cleaning. The last thing you want to do is clean the gutters out. It's a dirty, dangerous job. You get on the roof, you slip, you fall, you snap the neck and die. No good to the wife or kids. Make the phone call that I made years ago, 205-823-2212. Mention the next round. Great deal right now from our man Chris Stewart at Gutter Cap. 22 years in business. Cap it, don't snap it. Make the phone call today, 205-823-2212. Absolutely free estimates. For more information, guttercapbirmingham.com.
More college football at the top of the hour. Our friends at Way to Wellness bringing you our show today. And Leslie and her board-certified team are ready to help you out. A friend of mine called me the other day and said, hey, walk me through the process. What do I need to know before I call Leslie? I said, you don't really need to know anything. She's going to design a plan specifically for you. Here's what my plan is. And you'll go in there and whatever you're trying to accomplish, she'll design something for you. There's no contract. There's no sign-up fee. And that first consultation when you meet Leslie is free. The website, again, aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. You can get more details at Way to Wellness. I told him you got injection therapy if you want to go that route, meal replacements. I told him about the protein bars that I use, one for breakfast, and I got one in the middle of the show here. Then I eat my own lunch. Which 27 of the last 28 days has been about the same thing. I've been in a little bit of a rut there with a chicken salad, but it's good. It's what I want every day, and I've dropped a few pounds over the course of it, and I'm in better shape, feel great. That's what you get at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living, aplanforme.com. LT, you were not here yesterday when we talked about the fines, both for the Atlanta Falcons and for their defensive coordinator, Jeff Ulbrich, because he left his air quote, iPad open for his son to get some phone numbers and prank call some people. The Falcons had to apologize, and then Jeff Ulbrich was at the podium yesterday, and he had to talk about the incident during the draft where his son prank called Shedeur Sanders and then posted it all over social media. Here is the sitting defensive coordinator of the NFL Atlanta Falcons having to talk about this.
First of all, I'd like to publicly apologize to Shedeur and the Sanders family for what occurred. Second of all, I want to publicly apologize to Mr. Blaine, Terry Fontenot, Raheem Morris, and the entire Falcons organization. My actions of not protecting confidential data were inexcusable. My son's actions were absolutely inexcusable. And for that, we are both deeply sorry. The NFL has taken action, and I fully respect the punishment. We take full responsibility, my son and myself, and we will not be appealing the fine in any way. Going forward, I promise my son and I will work hard to demonstrate we are better than this. Again, I'm deeply sorry for our actions.
That's a tough news conference right there to walk out there and do, man.
Yeah, I remember the last time I got my ass whipped belt to ass was because my dad was more embarrassed because a parent had called me out than actually the action.
You want to share what you did?
It wasn't anything big. I'm trying to even remember exactly what it was. I just remember the parent actually having to call my dad. And, it's not like my dad was very active in my day-to-day life, but I just think he was more embarrassed by it. My point was, Ulbrich has got to be, this is the most embarrassed he's got to be. I can't imagine something he could do that would put me over the edge, but something like this would put me over the edge.
But I brought this up to Dunaway. If you were a kid and you were goofing off and you broke a window in your house, you probably had to cut grass till your dad determined you worked it off, right?
Yeah.
This is $100,000. How do you work off $100,000 out of his pocket?
Ulbrich, it's huge too. This is not like the kangaroo court and you get fined $5,000 by the NFL fashion police and the team ultimately pays it, or the kitty that you've got built up by everybody inside pays this. He's going to have to pay this. If I buy a mattress, I'm looking for 0% financing or an 85-inch TV. I don't think he's going to be able to finance this.
You don't think Roger Goodell will let him do it in installments?
Now, to your point, the NFL has to see paperwork that he's actually paying for it, that Arthur Blank's not writing a
That's
check
right,
to cover him up.
And that Arthur Blank doesn't give him a $100,000 raise,
That's
$150,000 raise right now to cover this. No, the league wants it to hurt. And because what the league wants is every other assistant out there and scout and head coach to now say, I can't let this happen to me. How do you over paid $100,000? I don't want to do that.
And is this a situation you rip your kid out of school just to prove a point for a little bit?
Take him out of Ole Miss and make him go to Georgia State. No offense to Georgia State, but
yeah, wow.
It's
right next door.
Glad you didn't say Georgia Southern.
Yeah, well, I couldn't do that. That wall's not thick enough.
No, but I guarantee you that Arthur Blank could get him a job at Home Depot for the summer. Yeah. Put his ass to work and see what happens.
Zero salary? You work zero salary?
No, everything's coming back to me. I don't really know. How you punish something like this, because
would there be a little bit of you? I mean, I don't know how much defensive coordinators make Ulbrich and what his financial situation is.
He's probably making $1 million a year.
I mean, I would almost be willing, if I could do it, to tell the Falcons and Arthur Blank, take that $250 out of my salary too. I don't want you guys having to
okay, so
I mean, I see what you're saying there. I just financially, I don't let you.
I think I'm going to say 1.2 he's making. So he's bringing home $700,000, and you're already giving up. What is he giving up? $100,000?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine?
$250 is going to be tough.
Yeah. Can you imagine taking? Yeah. Basically, giving up half your salary.
Yeah. No, that'd be hard.
Yeah. I don't know if even a guy in his position, can really, week in, week out, really absorb that.
He's never been anything more than a coordinator. He's never been a head coach or anything. Now he was interim head coach for the Jets, so I'm sure he got a little pay bump for that after they fired Robert Saleh.
I'm not saying I could do it. I mean, anybody, if you get told you're going to lose a big chunk of your salary, it's going to be a life-changing moment. I'm just saying that there'd be part of me that would want to, my employer, my boss, the Falcons, to not have to pay it.
Well, look, we don't
I would tell you that he better be a damn good defensive coordinator this year.
One of our good friends, I was at a Crawfish Bowl a couple of weeks ago, and his daughter's looking for an internship, and so he was like, hey, will you talk to her? She wants to get into marketing, and started talking to her, and I was like, I assume you want a paid internship, but we don't have paid internships.
Right.
And she was like, I really want a paid internship. And I was like, we just don't do that. I would be willing for this Jax Ulbrich kid. We can give him $10 a month to chip in to his dad's.
Right.
Yeah.
To intern with us?
Yeah, and we can show him the right way to do this, because everything is serious with us.
That's right. Yes, you'll never see us doing anything.
No prank calls like this.
Is this the equivalent of you burning the ant bed and burning the dude's?
Oh, yeah. It was the embarrassment for my grandfather.
That's right.
And the lying was it wasn't the incident itself. Right. Kids will be kids. If I'd have just said it was me down there playing with the ant beds, gasoline, and I burnt a whole pasture up in flames, and Alabaster Fire Department had to come to save a house to keep it from burning up into the house. If I'd have just said, as a 10-year-old or whatever I was down there playing with matches and gasoline, and I didn't know it, I didn't put it out. I think people understand kids are kids, right? You're going to make a mistake like that. It was lying to my grandfather, who then stood up for me to the fire chief and the police department and the neighbor that made it worse. It embarrassed him.
The lie, the lie is always what gets you.
Yeah, in everything.
But, I mean, for this kid, what is he, 19, 20 years old? Man, that's next level. And then to premeditate and to know that you're going to film this, to put it out on social media. Like, how did he ever think that this wasn't going to end bad?
Yeah, I mean, he posted it. I mean, he did a victory lap. I mean, if you do a prank call, the victory lap, you want everybody to know who it is.
Yeah, but I'm almost like, if I'm Jeff, I'm telling Jax, like, obviously schooling's not working. You're really stupid. So let's take the summer off. Let's do some manual labor, and if we can work this out, we'll send you back to Oxford.
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But again, I mean, Falcons suck on defense this year. This is one of those things that goes in the negative column. Should we keep him, not keep him? Remember what happened in the offseason, how he embarrassed the organization?
Oh, I guarantee you, Jeff's told Mom, hey, look, stop spending. We've really got to watch it this year.
Let's clamp down.
Because, we were supposed to win the South last year. We didn't. If we don't, I'll be the scapegoat this year, especially because of our dumbass son.
That's right.
So we're on a freeze right now, a spending freeze. Yeah.
Your son. He becomes your son. Really quick.
My son. Yeah, your genetics.
Hey, one more thing to get to here before we get to the top of the hour. The show being brought to you by Lance'sLock.com. Lance'sLock.com. He's got plays for you in baseball, baseball and basketball tonight. And it's always brought to you by Heupel.
Yeah, working on tonight right now. 3-2 last night. Had a winning night. Did have the Lakers. That was very disappointing. Stayed up late to try to get us 4-1. But coming off another winning night, we will have more winners up and available for you. Tonight, jump on board. Free play every single day at lanceslog.com. It is always brought to you by our friends at Heupel Services. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. And remember to keep up with the spring weather. $1,000 off HVAC systems plus 0% financing. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or HempHillServices.com.
By the way, a change in an athletic director at a Big Ten school, Michigan State, announcing that AD Alan Holler is leaving his position. So athletic director Alan Holler is leaving his position. He's led that department since September of 2021, was under contract through August of 2026. Jennifer Smith, the deputy AD, and Tom Izzo, the men's basketball coach, are acting interim ADs during the search. So Izzo moving into an AD role during this search. He's not the AD that gave Mel Tucker the contract, is he? When did Mel Tucker get that contract?
That was the
Peyton Thorne's big year.
21 season,
with Kenneth Walker. I think it might have been 20.
20?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. September of 2021 is when he took over. So he would be the guy that had to fire him, I guess, maybe. I don't know. So a change at Michigan State. When we come back, the always great information folks at Pro Football Focus has their 2025 All-American team out. We'll talk about that coming up on the other side. The show being brought to you by New York Butcher, LT.
Yeah, great place to pick up a couple of those steaks, some fantastic ribs, chicken on your way home. Incredible side dishes made in-house, from those baked beans to the mashed potatoes with the goat cheese, mac and cheese. Also, an incredible selection of fine wines and desserts. One-stop dinner shop, rare quality, well-done service. 2 locations, Cava Heights, 119 in Greystone. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
People always think I'm weird that I know how long it is until college football.
I don't think that's weird at all.
114 days on our countdown to week 0. We're about to talk college football and some All-American lists that's out from Pro Football Focus. Indy Racing returning to Birmingham in just a few days now.
Yeah, the road to the Indy 500 running through Birmingham. It is May 2nd through 4th. That is this weekend, starting tomorrow, in fact, when we will be out at Barber Motorsports Park. Another extra show tomorrow. Mystery Fifth Hour live out there, 3 o'clock. Fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, Award Dixon and Newgarden put their skills to a test. One goal in mind, victory. Miss America, Abby Stockard, makes the most iconic command in all of racing, the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today, IndyAlabama.com. That is IndyAlabama.com for this weekend's race. And again, catch us tomorrow from Barber Motorsports Park at 3 o'clock for a live Mystery Fifth Hour. All right, it is college football All-American season. Pro Football Focus does a really, really good one. It is curated by, and all the write-ups are written by Max Chadwick, who is with us now from PFF. He is on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Welcome in. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, guys?
Doing fantastic. I don't want to oversell it. Like you don't hand by hand pick these guys. There's a panel that handles this, right? You don't just say, this is my opinion on who are the All-Americans.
No, this actually was mine.
All right.
I'm the lead college analyst at PFF, so that kind of entrusted me with basically everything in college football there. So hopefully you guys agree with it. But yeah, this is pretty much my list.
Okay. No, we're not going to agree with any of them, actually, Max.
Got to set that up for us.
So you've jumped right in there. I will go in before LT here and just talk quarterback because that's everybody's position. Cade Klubnik has had an up and down career, a little up at the end of last year. When you're looking at quarterbacks, why'd you go Cade Klubnik compared to everyone else in America? Because you went Cade Klubnik compared to everyone else in America.
Yeah, I mean, he was fantastic last year. He had the 5th best passing grade in the country. I mentioned before how it is my list, but all of it is based off the wonderful data and analytics we have over at PFF. And I mean, I think of any quarterback returning to college football, he was the best one from last year. So, 2 years ago, he wasn't very good, right? But last year, I mean, he was, like I said, he was an elite quarterback last year. And I really think this guy has finally turned a corner and has looked like the #1 quarterback recruit coming out of high school like it was in 2022. So I think Clemson's got the best roster probably overall in college football, and Cade Klubnik's a big reason why. And I think as of right now, he's the best quarterback in the country. It's definitely wide open, like you mentioned before. There's certainly a lot of other guys that could have made an argument for that list, and DJ Lagway has a lot of potential. Maybe we'll see what happens with Arch Manning too, and there's other guys coming back like Nussmeier and Drew Aller that are very good as well. But as of right now, I think Cade Klubnik's right now the best quarterback in the country.
You know, Max, the analytics are the analytics, but just the eye test. We said a couple of weeks ago we were talking about returning quarterbacks, and I think we all agreed that Cade Klubnik just looked like the best quarterback coming back. With that said, the other quarterbacks on your quarterback list, when you go 1 through 10 on guys coming back, I give you a lot of credit because you have Arch Manning at 6. There's a lot of people, although we never saw him really start meaningful games, a lot of people would have had him a lot higher. And I'm one of those that, I thought Quinn Ewers was a really good college quarterback, but there was a reason Ewers was playing every snap and Arch was coming in with special packages. Obviously, Arch wasn't the better quarterback last year. Maybe he will be this year. But why number 6 for Arch Manning for you?
Yeah, I wanted to be somewhere in the middle because I think not having him in the top 10 at all is wrong. I think he's just too talented to not put in the top 10. But also having him number 1 or number 2 is also wrong because, like you said, he started 2 games in his career against below average competition in Mississippi State and Louisiana Monroe, right? So I think 6 is around the range I wanted to put him in. I think the top 5 are pretty proven guys, and then 6 through 10 is like, okay, like these guys have a lot of talent. We'll see what they can do next year. And of those guys, I said, all right, Arch I actually think is going to be a really good player. Arch right now has the best Heisman Trophy odds if you look at all the sports books right now. So I really think that 6 could be way too low for him at the end of the year. And he absolutely has a talent to be the number 1 quarterback in the country. In fact, if you ask me to pick one quarterback for next year, it still might be Arch Manning. But I just think of it, you look at it right now, I just think he hasn't proven enough compared to the top 5 guys, which is why he was number 6 for me.
Max Chadwick is with us, football analyst, PFF, Pro Football Focus, also on the PFF college side, runs that for them. You can follow him on social media at CFB Max Chadwick, at CFB Max Chadwick. He is on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. Any good quarterback needs good receivers. And boy, if Cade Klubnik was playing with this team, he would have 2 good ones in Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams, your first team All-Americans. I will ask you, is there a gap in the analytics between these two? If so, how significant? Because people in the state see a lot of Ryan Williams, maybe not as much Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, there is a gap. I think Jeremiah Smith is the best player in college football, not just the best receiver in college football. So Ryan Williams is still absolutely up there, though. Like, he was fantastic last year. I mean, I know you guys heard it a million times already, but he was only 17 years old for his entire freshman year. But it was still ridiculous what that kid was doing out there as a true freshman. But Jeremiah Smith, I thought last year was probably the best receiver in college football as a true freshman. Like, Ryan Williams is very good. He's probably like a top 15 to 20 receiver in the country last year. He wasn't the best one. So there is a gap because I do think Jeremiah Smith is that special, but Ryan Williams has all the makings of being a potential top 5 pick in 2027, like Jeremiah Smith when they declare too. So yeah, there is a gap. There's no one even close, I think, right now to Jeremiah Smith, but Ryan Williams, if you had to get a silver medal out to anyone, it would be Ryan Williams right now, in my opinion.
We had the discussion after the NFL draft. Will Alabama have a first-round guy next year? And I saw a mock draft this morning that had Caden Proctor going number 2 overall. Wow. I know you guys have Caden Proctor as your left tackle right there. How much has this guy just improved over the last couple of years?
A lot. And you mentioned you saw a mock draft, have him go number 2. We actually put out a mock, had him going number 1. Because the Giants had the first overall pick. Now, I will say, it was because the Giants had the first pick in that mock draft that we had to have Caden Proctor go there, because a quarterback, they just took Jackson Dart. They don't really need a safety, right, either. So Caleb Downs wasn't really an option for us there either.
Yeah, and for the record, they have Caden Proctor going to the Giants at number 2.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See, that's exactly why. Yeah. So it was more like Caden Proctor in our draft rankings is currently number 6, but he went number 1 because the Giants just didn't need anything else besides offensive line, really. So that's why we had him going there. But yeah, he's supremely talented, man. He's 6'7", 360 pounds, and he does not move like that at all. Like, he has very good movement ability at that size, and he showed up against elite competition, man. I think he only allowed 1 pressure total against Georgia and South Carolina in his career, and those are 2 elite defensive lines, right? So a lot of talent, a lot of potential. Still a little inconsistent right now, which is why I think he's number 6 in our rankings. But I do think there's absolutely the upside to be a top 5 pick next year.
I think some people are a little surprised at another Pro Football Focus thing that you put out about the number of returning players on Alabama's roster that rank really high at the position. Can you just talk about how much skill you believe is returning to Alabama?
Yeah, a lot. I think Alabama has, they missed the playoff this last year, but I'd be really surprised they miss a playoff again this upcoming year. And I know they have a new quarterback, but I think Ty Simpson has been waiting his turn for a very long time. He's a former 5-star recruit coming off high school too. Whenever he's been inserted into the game, he's always showed like, hey, he could be a pretty good passer for Kalen DeBoer. He's probably a better or more technically sound passer than Jalen Milroe is, and he also has some movement ability too. But you mentioned that receiving core, Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard's still there too. He's a really good player. Offensive line is still loaded, and the defense is really why I think Alabama can have a really good year next year. That defense, top to bottom, has so many stars in that defense. So I'm a big fan of Alabama next year, and I do think they're going to be a college football playoff team next year.
Max Chadwick is with us, PFF college side as well with the All-American team. He is on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. So many people, when it comes to South Carolina, will focus on Lenora Sellers. I get the feel, certainly based on one of your positions on the defense, you don't even think Lenora Sellers is the best player on that team.
No, I think Dylan Stewart is pretty special. He is the edge rusher from South Carolina, another true freshman from last year. It's incredible the amount of amazing true freshmen we had in college football last year, but he was another one too. And I think, he's a freak athlete. He had a 91.4 pass rush grade last year, which is 6th among all edge rushers in America. So, yeah, he's a freak, man. You saw in his first ever game against Old Dominion just some of the moves he's putting out there, and he kept it up pretty much all year as well. So, got to get a little bit stronger as a run defender, but there might not be a better pass rusher in college football than Dylan Stewart right now.
You said best player in football, Jeremiah Smith, is the second best player in football, also on Ohio State, and Caleb Downs.
Yep, it is. Yeah, that's kind of crazy that Ohio State's got the best offensive player and the best defensive player in college football right now.
Funny what money will do, right?
Yeah, it's nuts. It's pretty funny because, I would say, Jeremiah Smith is the best NFL prospect, but he's not eligible until 2027. Caleb Downs is the best NFL prospect in 2026, in my opinion. I think he's truly going to be one of those safeties that we talk about, like a Kyle Hamilton or a Derwin James or Micah Fitzpatrick or whoever, or Eric Berry coming out of college. Caleb Downs, was amazing at Alabama in his freshman year. Transfers over to Ohio State, is as good as that in his sophomore year as well. He's been nothing but an elite player through 2 years so far. I think Caleb Downs right now is the best prospect in next year's draft.
Max, other than the kickers, and I went down to check, there's one there, but in your offense and your defense, and I think you know where I'm going with this, there's not a Georgia Bulldog. And that is different than Kirby's rosters in recent years. Where's Georgia headed right now? Is this just a young team, or is the talent slipping in Athens?
No, I don't really think the talent is slipping. I think there's a lot of just unproven talent right now. They did lose a lot of players from this past year's team to the NFL. So I think that's something to just keep in mind. It's like, hey, there's still a lot of talent. They're always recruiting at a top 3 level in the country, so it's not ever going to be a talent issue. There's just a lot of unproven guys. So none of those guys were in my All-American teams. They haven't shown anything yet. But that's not to say they're not a talented team. I will say I do think they downgraded a quarterback. I know some Georgia fans might not like that. I do think Carson Beck's still a pretty good quarterback. Gunnar Stockton, I have no idea what he's going to be like yet. So I wasn't really that impressed when he was inserted. Of course, it was against Notre Dame in a really difficult game. But yeah, I think they're a team that could have a regression a little bit next year because I just don't know what we're getting at Gunnar Stockton. And like I said before, they're a very young team with a lot of new starters next year. So we'll see what they can do next year. They'll probably absolutely still be in the playoff mix, but I don't know if Georgia's a national title contender like they usually are every year.
Because we originate out of Birmingham, Alabama, I'm going to ask you about Peter Woods, one of the, if not the best defensive lineman in all of college football. Is there a possibility he goes number 1 overall?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's one of the 3 or so best prospects in next year's draft. Yeah, I think he's the best D tackle in the country. Clemson actually played him an edge rusher this past year, which I thought was very, very weird. But, whenever he's lined up at D tackle, he was fantastic. Yeah, he's unreal strength, unreal power at the size. He has quick movement ability, too, despite being a bigger player, too. Yeah, I think Peter Woods, he and his teammate, actually, TJ Parker. TJ Parker is the edge rusher at Clemson. Peter Woods is the D tackle. Parker's the best edge rusher in next year's draft. Peter Woods is the best D tackle in next year's draft. Both those guys could be top 5 picks, honestly. So, yeah, I think Peter Woods absolutely could be a top 5 pick next year.
Well, he sounds like Clemson's going to win the national championship. And, man, Max, you need to go back and look at the start of our show. We've already got the mock-up Dabo Swinney statue ready to go at Clemson. It seems like you'd be all on board with that.
Yeah, I actually, as of right now, I am predicting Clemson to win it all next year.
Whoa.
I predicted Ohio State last year and Michigan the year before, so I'm trying to make the hat trick this year with Clemson. I haven't locked it in yet, but as of right now, that I am leaning that way because that roster is just loaded top to bottom.
When you talked about Peter Woods playing out of position, for some reason it made me think of Harold Perkins. Can you believe? Like, if I had taken you back to his freshman year and said there'll be times you leave him off an All-American team, you'd have thought I was crazy, probably.
Yeah, it's nuts. He was my top linebacker last year. I don't think he made my top 10 linebackers list this year. It's just I have no idea what to do with him, right? It's just like he's 6'1", he's 220, but his best attribute is his pass rushing ability, but he's not big enough to play edge rusher. Like there's some people who think, oh, well, he could just be Abdul Carter, right? Where he goes from linebacker to edge rusher and is a top 3 pick because of it. And it's like, no, man, like Abdul Carter is like 6'3", 250. Like Perkins is 6'1", 220. Like, he's barely big enough to be a linebacker. He's almost got like a safety's body out there. So he can't play edge rusher full time in the NFL. He might not be, but he's not good enough to be a linebacker full time either. It's just a weird spot for Howard Perkins right now, and I think he's a little bit of a tweener, honestly, which stinks because he really does have game-breaking pass rush ability. Maybe he can stick at linebacker full time, but yeah, it's weird, just how his career has gone so far. And unfortunately, the torn ACL from last year didn't help either. But yeah, he's just a tweener right now. Is the best way I could describe Harold Perkins.
All right, give me a guy that you think is vastly underrated, a guy that you look at analytics and you're like, America does not talk enough about this college football player.
Oh, good question. I'm going to go with Leonard Moore, the corner out of Notre Dame, another true freshman from last year. I think he's the best corner in the country. He was incredible in man coverage last year, the third best man coverage grade in the country. And, Ben Morrison, the star corner who I think went in the second round of the draft to the Buccaneers, when he went down with the hip injury, everyone's like, oh, boy, what is the secondary going to look like? And Leonard Moore was inserted as a former 3-star recruit as a true freshman and was incredible. So I think Leonard Moore is the best cornerback in America right now. And I think, that 2027 NFL draft is going to be loaded with some superstars in there.
All right, at CFB Max Chadwick is where you go follow Max on social media. Read him at PFF and PFF College. They do tremendous work there. Their All-American team is out. You can go see it for yourself right there at PFF College. Max, thank you very much for the time. Great talking with you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
All right, buddy. Good work on that. Max with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
Before we get to 4 downs, I'll tell you our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg from Pell City, is ready to get on your roof today, tomorrow, or anytime next week. If you just text him or call him at that number on your screen, if you're listening to us on any of our audio platforms, here's that number, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531. A little backstory about Greg, if you don't know. Storm Restoration Roofing, he and his wife own the company. It is locally owned. It has been that way for over 2 decades now. You can reach him on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. If you see him rolling around in his big black truck, you'll notice it because it has a big Next Round logo on it. That's how much Greg and us believe in each other. We appreciate his support so much, and we tell you all the time he's the most trustworthy guy that you'll ever want to meet in an industry full of guys that you don't always trust. Sometimes when there's storm damage in an area, you'll have people come across state lines to try to come in and bamboozle you. That's not Greg. He's here. He's local. He's got 10 kids, so he's not going anywhere. And it's a family organization. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and that free, no-cost roof inspection. Builder's license so he can do storm damage repairs and so much more. Check him out, Storm Restoration Roofing. Don't get bamboozled. 205-542-3531 or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. And 4 downs brought to you by Bojangles.
Bow time at Bojangles. You want that Bowberry cookie, don't you? They are absolutely delicious. Your local Bojangles. When Scott shows that video, my mouth waters. The Bowberry cookie available at Bojangles. It's bow time.
First down.
SpongeBob premiered 25 years ago today. So, what is your favorite all-time favorite cartoon?
For me, growing up, it was the Justice League. Like, I would have loved the Marvel and DC movies as a kid. We just didn't have those options. But the Justice League, and you didn't know who you were going to get. It might be, what was the big Comanche Apache or...
Yeah, would he be a giant?
Yeah.
Apache Chief.
Apache Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just never knew which one you would get, these side stories. You would always get the Wonder Woman and Superman and the Wonder Twins with Gleek.
I was going to ask this. Was Wonder Twins part of the Justice League? Yes.
Didn't like the Wonder Twins.
Yeah.
Now, I did like the fact that they can make of whatever they wanted to.
Wonder Twins, waves or whatever.
Yeah, make of a water bucket and a mop. I mean, they did have some random ass stuff that they would throw out there, but I loved the Justice League as a kid. I thought it was awesome.
I loved cartoons growing up. I think my favorite ones growing up, like He-Man, G.I. Joe, and Thundercats when I was a kid. The G.I. Joe one probably stood out more than any of them.
They had a cartoon that was G.I. Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was when I was talking about this when I was at the Smithsonian. I didn't realize this as a kid, but cartoons were educational until the 80s when the toy companies were like, we should make cartoons of our toys. Everybody would want to buy our toys. And guess what? Everybody wanted to buy the toys.
Brilliant move.
It was it was a genius move.
Transformers as well.
So much so the government had to step in and say, okay, got to have some education of this stuff. But that growing up, and then with both my daughters, my oldest, who's now a college daughter, and my youngest, so that shows the staying power of this cartoon, we always watched Phineas and Ferb together.
Oh, yeah.
Which I always thought was very funny. It had some...
Never seen it.
Have you not?
No.
Nickelodeon.
Same thing, Brown. It's
Disney
fantastic. It is, speaking of educational.
There's some education in there, maybe, but it's one of those lands with enough humor that makes you laugh and enough humor that makes your kid laugh. And those are hard to do,
and that's why I liked Arthur. Like, I thought Arthur was incredible. So my kids really liked Arthur. And they even had an episode, and it wasn't called The Sopranos, but it was based on The Sopranos. And it was bleep, 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 nonstop. They were just dropping F-bombs. But Arthur, I thought, was great.
Yeah. No, Arthur was very educational and very good. For me, though, I'll go personal. When I was a kid, this would have been in the 70s, and it was called Laugh Olympics.
Oh, I
love
those.
So you'd have
Great.
different cartoons, and they were in different teams, and they would do Olympic events. And, I was into sports and loved the Olympics back then. And so I was waiting for something sporty to come on at 11 or noon. So I watched Laugh Olympics, sort of get my day going.
Didn't they have the cat that would go...
Yeah. I don't know what that character is, but he was always on one
Dick
team.
Dastardly and Muttley.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Do the laugh again? Yeah.
Did you pull for the bad guys or the good guys?
I like the bad guys. I would want the good guys to win. Grape Ape, I think, was a character. I never liked him.
Captain Caveman was awful, too.
Oh, yeah.
Captain Caveman.
Yeah.
I think that show was a spin-off of Wacky Races. That
Maybe.
was good, too.
I did like Laugh Olympics. You know what I didn't like was when Scooby-Doo would have the guest star like Phyllis Diller or the Harlem Globetrotters.
I like the Globetrotter ones.
I never did. I always liked just your strict Scooby-Doo cast.
And everybody knows when Scrappy came in, it kind of threw everything up. That's when they jumped the shark. But I was a huge Scooby-Doo fan back then.
Yeah, I loved Scooby-Doo back then. So if that's a cartoon, then I know it's animated. I loved Scooby-Doo as well. I mean, you didn't like it when it was like, Scooby, here, we're in Taiwan. Wait, is that Meadowlark? Meadowlark, what are you doing here at the Eiffel Tower?
Meadowlark living in the Harlem Globetrotters.
And of course he has a basketball and in uniform.
And then something happens.
Yes.
Batman and Robin episode was good too from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, a crossover?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that.
Second down.
Tim McGraw turns 58 today. Who had the better career? Tim McGraw, Tim Allen, or Tim Burton?
Man, I think this is the order I would go in. And then I would go back and tell you which careers I would want. So I think Tim Allen had the best career.
Wow, I did not think you'd go there.
I think Tim Burton had the second.
Wow,
and then
you're
McGraw.
gonna go Tim McGraw third?
All great careers. I think if I could do it, I would want to be in backwards order. I think I would want to go McGraw, Tim Burton, and then Tim Allen. I just think Tim Allen, based on the Toy Stories and the Santa Claus franchises and Home Improvement, I mean, I would say that he's got more money than all of them.
I'd go McGraw, Tim Allen, Tim Burton. It'd be
actually, Tim McGraw has the most amount. His net worth was about $200 million, and then the other Tims are about $100 million each.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not about money often, but I would go Tim McGraw. I mean, he's been doing it since the early 90s.
I bet Q-meter, though, I bet Tim Allen's more known.
I would say Tim Allen's staying power is very remarkable, though.
Well, this guy got busted for coke back in like the 70s or 80s.
I mean, he had to overcome it. Yeah, nobody cares. I mean, nobody ever it's the mugshot's out there, and nobody ever looks at it.
But he was doing bikini contests with a mustache back in the 70s or 80s.
And I have never found him, hilarious. I mean, we talked about Seinfeld the other day. That was the Tim Allen model. He was a stand-up comedian that turned it into a TV career, and this guy's had huge staying power.
Yeah, he got lucky with saying yes on some things that maybe other people wouldn't have.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, like the Santa Claus, there's probably people that were like, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah. Or like Toy Story, there were probably people saying like, toys that talk, no thank you.
Yeah, that's the only reason I believe this generation knows who he is.
Yeah. Now, I've not
Probably
seen...
for this generation, yeah, that and Santa Claus, and that's it.
I've not seen Tim Burton's wife or Tim Allen's wife, but Tim McGraw probably wins that category.
You've seen Tim Burton's wife.
Oh, have I?
Yeah.
Is she better than Faith Hill?
Not even. This would be like if Faith Hill cleaned a chimney for about a month, and then you pulled.
Okay.
It's the actress that was in.
Is he still married to Helena Bonham Carter?
Yep.
Oh,
pull a quick picture. I mean, the hair's always disheveled. Like, makeup is optional at best.
Yeah.
Really good actress, though.
Matt says Home Improvement is one of the best sitcoms. Final Four Troy, I'll watch anything Tim Allen is in, period.
There you go. Look better than Faith Hill?
No, Faith Hill's better, but you made it sound...
Well, she's got makeup on there, and somebody's done her hair for
the best picture of her I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's a glamour shot for her.
Let's talk about dragging her out of a chimney. I mean, she's better than that.
Well, I mean, Tyler Jeeves back there can find a better picture or a worse picture.
Well, I mean, she does look like she's constantly playing... okay. Well, I mean, she's playing a role there. She's got some curly hair. So, well, I mean, she's playing somebody who's trying to look like that. I'm not saying you don't have to worry about it, G.
But you're not going to cast Faith Hill in that part, are you?
No, I mean, listen, I said Faith Hill's got the lead, but you made it sound like they drug this woman out of a swamp. Found her at the bottom of the trash bin.
She just always kind of looks disheveled.
Disheveled, okay.
Yeah. I mean, if they had a kid, it would be Napoleon Dynamite with dark hair, right?
Yeah.
4th down.
All right, so this question has gone viral, and so I've got to get your guys' input on it.
Always the ape, the gorilla.
Who wins in a fight? 100 men versus one silverback gorilla.
Yeah.
I think if the 100 men had a strategy, no weapon involved, nobody's got a weapon.
You can't have a weapon, and the gorilla wins all the time.
No, if the 100 men had if it was just like 100 men attack a gorilla, he's going to win it. But if they had a good strategy, if they made a game plan, I would take the 100 men.
Oh, I'd take the 100 men too, and they've got to be all in. Like, I've got to.
That's what I'm saying.
If I get to pick the 100 men, and you get a bunch of Navy SEALs guys that are fearless, that have a plan.
And they go in with a plan.
Because what's going to suck is much like Normandy, when that door dropped.
That's right.
Those first guys that get the silverback,
they're done.
They are done.
Yeah, but the silverback gets tired at a point.
Yeah, like if you put together every guy in this building, silverback's going to crush.
100 Navy SEALs. Okay,
See, that's how I interpreted the question. Just 100 random guys.
Oh, 100 random guys. Easy.
You're hand selecting Spartan soldiers.
You get to pick the 100
90
men
aren't going to fight.
With 100 men and no weapons, there's nothing the man's going to do that's going to hurt the silverback. What's he going to do?
No,
I mean, you can't punch him. It's not going to hurt him. Not with that muscle around his body.
100 guys is a lot of guys. And I'm just saying, if you were fearless and they all went at one time, it would overwhelm the silverback.
Okay, so there's 100 guys who've got a hold of him. Okay, what do they do to him?
Gouge his eyes.
Yeah, gouge his eyes.
Okay, so now he can't see, but
That's
he can
right.
still
You get 4 or 5 guys up on his throat.
Yeah. I think 100 guys.
Somebody grabs his nuts. I mean, look, you know.
That's not going to be me. I don't sign up for that one. It's 100 guys with a good plan.
Yeah, somebody puts foot in his ass. I mean, there's a lot of things you could do, biting his toes.
But if there's just 100 guys walking down the street and a silverback gorilla shows up and they decide to attack, it's over. The silverback wins.
So have you guys ever seen the movie Diggstown?
No,
with Louis Gossett Jr., James
not.
Woods. Bruce Dern, though, he's got to. So basically, Louis Gossett Jr.'s got to fight 12 guys in 24 hours in the boxing ring. And so Bruce Dern is coaching the other guys. He's like, he goes individual. Like, I want you just to work on his left eye. I want you to work on his ribs. So I'm just saying, if you had 100 guys that were listening and fearless, you'd be like, okay, you 2 guys are going for his right foot. And you could just pick this thing apart.
Yeah, it's 100 funerals in my book. That is 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
Yeah, that Bowberry cookie available right now at Bojangles. Go get one at lunch today at Bowberry Cookie. It is always bow tie.
So because it went viral, what is the majority of people? Where do they go on this?
The majority of people are saying the gorilla and saying that if you ran that battle 100 times, gorilla's probably winning 99 of those times, and you've got to go in with a strategy. But I think the general consensus is that it's 100 random people and not 180.
Without strategy, I'm with Dunaway. It's 100
No,
funerals.
I agree with you guys. If no strategy and with the wrong people.
The show's being brought to you today. Here we go. This is AI-generated 100 people versus the gorilla.
Well, so many people are just standing around. That's the problem. You're going to have to swamp it.
Yeah, and unlike this, once a gorilla hits somebody, like I see guys getting up, they ain't getting up.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, there are a lot of guys who need to do more here. They need to do that
Yeah,
part.
we got a lot of spectators.
I mean, nobody's
Scott.
really doing it. And that's what you would get with 100 randos.
That's right.
Like, my ass wouldn't go after that thing.
Nope.
Yep.
If he kills 100 people, I'll be the 100th death because I'm going to stand and watch
I'm
him
running.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, what can the silverback run? I mean,
fast.
pretty
he'll
fast.
catch me, yeah.
Yeah, I think the projection is that they can actually throw a human body 20 yards.
I could see. I've seen them recently went to the zoo like a couple of months ago and it jumped over that ravine, grabbed a pile of shit and threw it against the glass. I mean, they're quick as a cat.
Silverbacks have been recorded running at speeds of 25 miles an hour.
Yep.
To give you a comparison, the record from Usain Bolt is 27.8 miles per hour.
Yeah. So he's got Bolt speed.
And he's a gorilla.
And the strength of 100 men.
Rudy Gobert's wingspan. We'll just call it Rudy Gobert because of the 27 and 24 last night.
Our show being brought to you by the Birmingham Stallions, getting ready for a big weekend coming up Sunday afternoon. Pack Protective, you get down there with the Stallions. It's a big weekend coming up. You got faith, family, and football on a Sunday afternoon game. So after you do church, big groups, Sunday school, friends at church, whatever, youth groups, head on out to Protective Stadium. Get your tickets there on the website. Faith, family, and football. Free sunglasses to the first few fans in the Protective as well. That's 3 o'clock on Sunday with our friends at the Birmingham Stallion. And also, Dr. B bringing you the show today, LT.
Dr. B, best in the business. If you're starting to thin out a little bit, doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s. Dr. B is the guy that can help you. I'm speaking from experience. More than 3 years ago, I went to see Dr. Beckenstein and that great staff. Right now, I'm doing the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. Right now, T3 has a new test. It is so easy, painless, affordable. Takes 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work for you. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park, May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
We love the moments, the memories, the magic, the championships. So let's get more victories, more celebration.
He's got a chance. It won't be caught.
More unforgettable. More football. More of what you love.
As we all know, there's no off-season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Okay, just a reminder, tonight we are at Buffalo Wild Wings Pell City, 5 to 7.
That is correct. We will be live. Set your alerts.
Barber's Motorsports Park tomorrow, 3 to 5.
3 to 4.
3 to 4
With a
tomorrow.
live mystery 5th hour. Set your alerts.
And then coming up Monday, LT, Cinco de Mayo, we're at Trampled Tacos. Tell us about Trampled Tacos.
Yeah, Trampled by Tacos. It is, I don't know if you guys have been. I've been quite a few times.
I have.
Yeah, it's located, I guess the best way to put it, on Highway 280. If you're going towards Greystone, that Chick-fil-A that is on the left side on Highway 119, it's right next to that, more up towards the Krispy Kreme. I'll give you the exact address here.
Krispy Kreme not there anymore. Crumpled Cookies
is that what
there.
it is? Yeah.
Breakfast is in there as well. So we're in that little division right there, Trampled Tacos.
5363 U.S. Highway 280, Suite B101.
There you go, Jeeves. Live music, 5 to 8. We'll be out there from 3 to 5. They're going to have incredible specials, $3 off margaritas. They've got margarita pitchers, $8 off of those. All Mexican beers are only $4. Shots of tequila, only $5. Fantastic food. We'll be out on that patio broadcasting live from 3 until 5. Trampled by Tacos. Make sure you make your Cinco de Mayo plans with us right there on Highway 280.
I'll say some college football stuff here in this segment as we work our way past the Max Chadwick Pro Football Focused All-American list. I wanted to ask you guys first about Cade Klubnik and Clemson, what Max was talking about there. How bought in are you guys to Clemson? We've got our voters starting to form up to vote on our 40 and 40, which starts on May 13th, coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll start our countdown to SEC Media Days, one team every day. If you'd like to be a voter, still a few spaces open. DM me. My DMs are open on Twitter or on Instagram. DM me. Make sure you include your email address and let me know you'd like to vote again this year. We vote on this. Clemson, a national championship contender for real, in your opinion, LT?
Oh, yeah. I think the difference here is you look at what Dabo was able to achieve as far as championships. He had elite quarterbacks. He had Deshaun Watson. He had Trevor Lawrence. Now you've got an elite quarterback again in Cade Klubnik. And, and it's a guy that's been around, been in that system for a long time. I am going to be interested in seeing what kind of skill is going to be around him this year. But Clemson, they looked the part last year. Texas game ended up getting away from them in the second half. But I think this Clemson team's going to be really good, and I don't think they're going to have any problems in the ACC this year.
I mean, boy, that first game, all of a sudden, with them hosting LSU, Two of the best quarterbacks in America, if you believe the hype. If you believe Klubnik is that guy, like Pro Football Focus had him first team, and if you believe, what you were telling us earlier this week, that Nussmeier is the Heisman favorite right now, tied as the Heisman favorite right now, how about that quarterback matchup you get probably primetime ABC Saturday night to start the season?
Yeah, big game there with two teams that hope to be contending for a national championship. Another one of those teams is Texas. Yesterday, LT, Kirk Bowles, we talked about it on the show, but I wanted your reaction, and then I'll phrase it this way. Is Texas in a no-win situation now that word has come out from the Houston Chronicle that their salary for this roster is going to fall somewhere between $35 and $40 million, double that of Ohio State last year? Are they in a no-win situation where if they win the national championship, meet expectations, all the talk throughout the playoffs will be that $40 million roster like it was for Ohio State last year? If they come short, all the talk will be about that $40 million roster and how they overpaid and didn't meet expectations. That puts you in a tough in the crosshair point in college football.
Yeah, but if you're a Sark in Texas and Texas fans, who cares as long as you win it? Now, I do think it puts you in kind of the same situation that you had with Ohio State. Even guys like Will Howard were coming out before the season, and they were like, natty or bust. Like, we've got to win this thing. And then it didn't seem that was likely after the Michigan loss. But ultimately they do, and people will point to the $30 million roster. But that's where we are in college football with Ohio State and Texas and teams that can afford to pay all these players and to have the biggest money thrown around at these guys out there in NIL. But I do think it's national championship or bust.
I mean,
with a quarterback, we really don't know how good he is.
We don't, but let me ask you this. Here's what I was about to ask. It's funny you say we don't know how good he is because I was going to ask this question. If I say Arch Manning we don't know that he could be the best Texas quarterback since Vince Young, is that crazy? Could be.
Well, the only other guy in that mix is Colt McCoy. I think if he's as good as Quinn Ewers, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. I mean, again, to your point, Quinn Ewers is good enough to have you in position to play for a championship.
If he's better than Colt McCoy, I think they win the national championship. I mean, let's not forget how good Colt McCoy was. I think he was a two-time Heisman finalist.
He took snaps in the NFL. Yeah.
If he wouldn't have gotten hurt against Alabama, who knows? I'm not saying they beat Alabama, but it is a different game. Colt McCoy was really, really good.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking about maybe the best quarterback you've had since Vince Young, potentially. Who knows? But
if he's better than Vince, I feel really good about
that. If he's better than Vince Young, give him the trophy right now.
It's just Colt McCoy. I mean, if he's better than Quinn Ewers, they should win it.
I agree.
Yeah.
But to your point, to the question you asked, Dunaway, what's the blowback like on Sark if you've got that type of quarterback potential and you've got that type of roster price and you don't lift the trophy? What's the blowback like on this guy? I mean, I think far from getting fired, but I think he'll start to feel some heat from Texas fans and Texas boosters that paid all this money.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they played for the SEC championship in year one last year. They were favored in that game. They ultimately don't win it. They had an opportunity to make noise in the college football playoff. They won a double overtime game against Arizona State. I think the next step is winning the SEC and making a little bit more of an impact in the playoffs.
If I'm part of this $40 million group, if I'm the Texas oil man that donated my hard-earned $2 million to get to 40, and we don't bring a trophy home from that, a national championship trophy, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah. Remember, they did not win the SEC last year either. Right. And you're paying a lot of money to be associated with a program. And listen, these things happen at programs all over America. I'm not pointing out Texas, but the timing of all this is weird. Fox 7 Austin last night. Texas O-lineman Nick Brooks was headed to strip club to meet recruits when he was arrested for DWI Doc's show. Marijuana smoking, marijuana pen.
My gosh.
Was going to meet recruits there.
Well, how did they know he was going to meet recruits? He just opened up.
Where were you headed?
I'm on the way to go to see recruits.
Oh, where are you meeting them? At the Texas Football Complex?
Well, I don't want that guy under the lamp.
And according to an arrest warrant affidavit for Brooks, the 18-year-old was traveling 47 in a 30-mile-per-hour zone on West 6th Street. Brooks then told the officer that he also spilled the beans here, he was coming from a 21 and up club on West 6th that quote, makes exceptions for Texas football players underage.
My gosh, this guy just spilled everything.
You know what? He had everything dialed in except his Uber.
Yeah.
That's all this guy needed for a good night.
I mean, the cop was like, "Hey, slow down with all the stories. We're trying to write this down here."
Hey, and if you wanted to know, a breath test showed no alcohol, but he was suffering from the effects of the marijuana and the marijuana vape pen that was found in his car. Steve Sarkisian, we were aware of the situation with Nick Brooks, have talked with him.
Was he suffering or was he just feeling the effects?
Yeah, he was.
Well, it made him honest
enough to be speeding and get pulled over, and with the smell there. So that's a story when you've got a $40 million roster that coaches they deal with, and this is after spring practice, before fall practice, where coaches say, whatever you do, stay out of the headlines.
Right.
Go enjoy your summer, stay out of the headlines.
As Lance frequently calls it, this is a rest and suspension season. That's where we are right now. We've had the season, recruiting season, spring football season. Now we're in a rest and suspension season.
I think Sark is a great redemption story. He's an easy guy to pull for. Outside of winning the Big 12 in Texas' final year, he's never won a conference championship. And I think they're going to get off to an 0-1 start. They go to Columbus. They're going to be underdogs there. We're talking about Texas, being this power. I think Texas is going to lose 2, maybe 3 games this year.
Jay Cox in the chat room says, the one part the Texas player didn't hear, that you have the right to remain silent.
Yeah, no.
No. Let me tell you everything.
You're 18. I'm coming from a 21 and over club that makes exceptions for us Texas players.
Miranda, she was just on the secondary stage.
Yeah.
She wasn't on the main stage.
She does have rights.
Yeah, so he spilled all the beans.
Every one of them.
Right there. So is it fair? The Athletic says it's Texas, Georgia, and everyone else in the SEC
that is
race.
Not fair.
Is that a fair statement?
No.
Texas, Georgia, and everyone else. Give me your reason why.
Well, I mean, I just remember last year, Georgia now, they get these games at home, but Georgia, correct me if I'm wrong, lost in Tuscaloosa and lost in Oxford, Mississippi.
Still won the SEC, though.
They did still win the SEC, but you can't say it's 2 teams and everybody else if you've lost 2 road games like that.
No, and you've still got to play in the swamp this year. And I think Florida, if Lagway is 100%, they're going to be much better. Alabama, I think quietly is off the radar right now, and a lot of people aren't talking about this Alabama team. I think they're going to be really good. Tennessee probably takes a step back. But other teams like Oklahoma, we believe they're going to be better. So I don't think this is Texas, Georgia, and everyone else.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite there yet. There were times in years past where it was Alabama and everybody else, and then there was times it was Alabama and Georgia and everybody else. I don't feel that we're there right now with Texas.
Well, and South Carolina is going to beat a team or 2 they shouldn't. LSU, we talk about Garrett Nussmeier and great quarterbacks. I saw him in that same mock I was talking about, Caden Proctor going number 2, number 7 to the Rams. Rams trading up to get Garrett Nussmeier.
And I'm not saying it's a bad roster, but you just brought it up with Max. Pro Football Focus does a college football All-American team. 1 guy at every spot, 11 on 11, and of 22, there were no Georgia players. Only Brett Thorson, the punter, made it. I mean, that's...
I don't care how you look at it. That's unusual for Kirby's roster.
Yeah, I was stopping short of the word alarming. I don't think it is alarming, but I do think it is unusual.
You could go to CBS Sports, The Athletic, any publication, and in recent years, there was at least 1 Georgia Bulldog.
Right. Do you guys remember we're in Indianapolis and Kirby's weary-eyed and, walking through the lobby, and he has just won his first national championship. And, at that point, I lost my train of thought, what I was going to say about Kirby.
Right.
I had a really good point here, though.
He was tired. We were in Indianapolis.
Yep. We were in Indianapolis. I know what it was. And the narrative was Kirby sold his team on everybody was poor-mouthing him.
Yep.
And going into the season, there were teams, and none of us remembered that. We don't remember people talking about Georgia losing 3 or 4 games and not making the national championship.
One kid said, somebody picked us to go 7-5, and look where we are now. Who picked you to go 7-5?
But I do think one person. Kirby can now sell this, right?
Yeah.
In the past, we've had all these All-Americans. Nobody thinks anything of you guys. There is no expectation.
Not one. Okay, Josh Heupel wanting to turn the page a little bit, going to relabel something after LT tells us about our friends at Heupel. Tell us about Heupel, man.
Heupel right now, incredible spring special for you as the weather starts to heat up. You got to make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. $1,000 off for those new units, plus 0% financing. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at New Life Art, all the great moments in the past and the ones to come in the future, you get them all right there at danielmooreart.com. Nothing says the past few years in Alabama more than that painting right there, the legend. 6 national championship poses from the man, the GOAT, Nick Saban. DanielMooreArt.com, really ready to sell you the legend. Promo code TNR. DanielMooreArt.com. All the other great works as well. You can go check it out online and see what you'd like to add to your collection or start a collection today. DanielMooreArt.com. Josh Heupel on with our guys at 3-hour lunch, 3HL in Nashville up there, the Zone in Nashville. Nashville's sports talk leader, and Heupel's asked about Nico Iamaleava leaving, and he's doing a face-to-face with our guys at 3HL, and he has this to say about that situation.
Obviously, the Nico Iamaleava situation. I'm just curious from your point of view in today's world of college football with all of the transition and everything. How surprised were you with the way that all played out and that he's no longer on that roster?
Well, let's start calling it the Joey Aguilar situation.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
End of the day, that's just the landscape. You're not going to keep everybody. You got opportunities to put your roster together. I feel like we got a team that's accountable, connected, works hard, competes hard, and we're built to win. Now we got to go earn it every single day, and we got some new pieces that we got to get onboarded here in the course of May. That's the nature of college football, and so we'll get ready and keep competing and keep growing.
The Joey Aguilar situation is what he wants to call it now. He wants Nico out of your mouth.
So what this tells me, yes, I am sick of talking about Nico.
Yep.
But if you were wondering if Aguilar's got to step up on everybody else, I think he just said it, right?
That's true. I didn't think of it that way.
I mean, there is no way you're specifically going to say we're going to talk about this as the Joey Aguilar situation if you don't believe, Heupel doesn't believe he's going to be the starting quarterback. And look, if this thing breaks right against Georgia in Week 3, they could be 6-0 heading to Tuscaloosa.
The alarming number about Aguilar, 56 and 24. That's just touchdown to interception. That is a lot of interceptions in 2 years of football at App State.
But App State has gone backwards a little bit. You maybe forcing a little bit. He's going to be playing with better talent and a more friendly system. And he gets to break it in a little bit. Like Syracuse is going to be good again this year, but they're not going to be good enough to beat Tennessee, I don't believe. Then you get East Tennessee State.
Yeah, it's an easier start, no doubt.
Yeah, so you get that. Even if you lose to Georgia, you get UAB, Mississippi State, and Arkansas at home after that. So worst case, you really should be 5-1 going into the Alabama game.
Listen, we will save what has turned into our daily discussion about Bill Belichick and Jordan for our spotlight coming up in the next segment of the show. A couple of other college football real on-the-field football notes here. Syracuse picked up TJ Ferguson from Florida State. He was their starting tackle last year. That Syracuse team is doing a lot of work. You may be watching or listening to us. You'd say, TJ Ferguson, that's a familiar name. He was at Alabama where he started his career. When Saban left, he was one of the many that bolted to Florida State, started every game for Florida State last year, and has had enough in Tallahassee, and is off to Fran Brown's team at Syracuse, where they brought in a couple of offensive linemen from programs yesterday. Miami got a running back, LT, that I think is going to be pretty darn good at this level. Charmar Brown from North Dakota State, 1,181 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns last year. He won the Jerry Rice Award as the top FCS rookie freshman in college football last year. And now he makes, after 1 year, the transition from North Dakota State to Miami. You could see him putting up some numbers there.
So overall, I thought Cristobal did a better job last year. The defense was train wreck. And maybe it was Cam Ward that kind of camouflaged all of their, chinks in the armor. But sooner or later, we're going to have to hold him really accountable, right? I mean, you go out and you're spending a lot of money in the portal. And Carson Beck, another example. Is this kid going to be the version of Kenneth Walker that comes from Wake and goes to Michigan State and is the best running back in college football? We shall see. But, I mean, Miami had really good players, a lot of players drafted last year, and it was still a season that not only did they not win it, they didn't even play for the ACC championship.
And he did the old coordinator change. You fire Lance Guidry as your defensive coordinator. They hire the guy out of Minnesota. Big year for his defense. I mean, with just passable defense they play in the college football playoffs. Just passable defense. Their defense was so bad it played them right out of the college football playoffs.
That's right. They were losing 48-45.
Yeah, I mean, all they had to do is beat Syracuse on the road. They're in the college football playoffs, and Clemson is not. And they couldn't do that because of their defense. To Jim's point, every game was 48-45, and that's what got Lance Guidry fired. And now you replace defensive coordinator, and boy, you better get that right. I mean, if they've got to – because they're going to take, I think, a step back offensively.
They have to.
I just don't know how Carson Beck's going to be Cam Ward. So you're going to take a small step back offensively in all likelihood. You got to close that gap defensively, or Jim, 48-45 is going to start being the wrong way 48-45.
That's right, or not even – it could be 48-35.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I got an amazing percentage off of what we were just talking about, sort of, after LT tells us about lags, because there is a little lag, if you will, in some football transfer portal news here for you. Lags is this unbelievable place. We were this close. We ran just a little late last night. Maggie and Harper and I were on our way out, and we were going over near the area, and we just couldn't get out of the house. Somebody had to fix their hair, and guess what? It wasn't me.
Really?
We were on our way out. Couldn't get to Lags in time for dinner, so we had to eat when we got home after the event. But Lags is there all the time for you. Tell us about Lags.
Our buddy Brad Jackson sent me a receipt yesterday. So he was at Lags, it looks like at 1:17 p.m., bologna sandwich, no tomato, tots extra crispy, and 1 Coke. And so he just sent me that, and I just said, how was it? Fantastic. I'll go back for sure. So there you go. That's just another happy customer, first time ever at Lags. If you remember the 80s and the 90s, Lags was over in Homewood right there on Broadway. They have moved it. Eric, Justin, a couple of guys, Homewood guys that actually worked at the old Lags Eatery. They've brought it back. It's in Avondale. It's between Avondale Brewing and Cahaba, a stone's throw away from Mom's basement. Sit out on that patio, enjoy a Braves game with a cold beer, delicious burgers, the bologna sandwich I just mentioned, the great side items, and of course, fantastic selection of beer. And the great thing, starting tonight, not only are they open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, but late night all the way till 2 a.m. So if you work that second or third shift, stop by Lags Eatery. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you.
Okay, so here we go. This is it's sort of a sad number if you're in that area of college football. The group of 5 of their first team all conferences, so you have 5 conferences in the group of 5, of their first team all conference players last year, as voted on for each conference, the Sun Belt, Mountain West, so on. They lost 70% of their first team all-conference players in the portal to FBS schools.
That does suck. They've become a farm league.
Yeah.
70% of their best players left their school to move on, most of them to the FBS.
It's no surprise. You know, if you're a grad assistant, I'm sure there's guys working this all the time. I mean, are you not watching these other games all the time?
100%.
Oh, constantly. Yeah,
constantly you're watching.
That's what the Courtney Morgans of the world, you know, that's part of being the general manager. You're working 3 phones and you're watching 5 screens 24 hours a day.
That's what we were talking about yesterday, because Vandy, Dunaway started the show with the fact that Vandy got a top 10 recruit at corner, and the guy picked Vandy over Georgia, and who was the other one?
Georgia, Notre Dame, and Auburn.
Georgia, Notre Dame, and Auburn. And we're like, freaking Vandy, what is Clark Lee selling? But we also discussed the fact that, like, if I'm a Georgia or an Alabama or one of these big programs, positions that can be difficult to evaluate in high school, and I think corner could be one of those. I've never had to do this, but like, you don't play great quarterbacks a lot in high school, right? There sometimes, depending on the level of football you're on, you may not face many passing offenses all year. So how do I evaluate this guy in coverage? I can look at his measurables, but how do I evaluate him in coverage? Why not just wait and get a guy out of the portal? I've seen him in the college game, and I know what he is.
Well, and for Vanderbilt to be able to not even outbid. I think the way it happens, and the more you talk to people that are involved in collectives, they have a set price for different guys. They've got set prices for guys that play certain positions. And you're going to see this more and more, where Vanderbilt is going to be able, at their highest point, to pay a little bit more than the lowest point for some of these other universities.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll pay a top 80 recruit more than Georgia and Alabama, who will be at the back end of their roster for a top 80 recruit.
Yeah, like point, and I think like Pavia coming out of New Mexico State, he's probably better than 85% of the quarterbacks at the Division I level right now. So Vanderbilt's in a great quarterback situation just because they probably spent the majority of money on Pavia.
Because they got a kid out of the portal. To your point, I mean, Pavia is the type of guy that would have been a first-team all-WAC or whatever conference that is out there.
Sunbelt at the time, maybe?
Really?
I don't know.
For New Mexico State?
Yeah. I'll tell you this, and this dawned on me during basketball season, and this is true now for this. These 70% that were first-team all-conference players at the group of 5, you can really think back to Mark Sears and Janai Broom at Ohio and Morehead State. If they go to Alabama and Auburn originally, Sears and Broom, what do they do that first year?
They don't play.
They're on the bench. Yeah. They're getting no playing time. At Ohio and Morehead State, what happened? They played in 33 games. These guys here, if they had gone originally to Alabama, Georgia, Texas, they're not getting any playing time. They may be out there on special teams occasionally. They may be playing mop-up time. They go to these group of 5 schools, become all-conference players. They played in 13, 14 games.
Yeah, the ego will not handle this, but if you're like a 4-star – and you probably think, like, I'm good enough maybe to see some special teams at an Alabama or a Tennessee, but I could go at Boise right now and I could play. I could start immediately. Yep. Is it worth, rolling the dice, doing that, and becoming all-conference and then getting even paid more?
If I get 13 games of experience? Yeah.
But on the basketball side, I was talking to somebody recently that's in the college basketball universe, and he said more than one mid-major coach has told him this. But the same variation, not the same exact words, but the same variation, like, okay, I can go beat up all my boosters for NIL money and go find a diamond in the rough kid, right? Like a Janai Broom or a Mark Sears, and develop him into a good player and pay him to stay at my program. And I still have to win my conference tournament to get in the NCAA tournament, and I've got to catch lightning in a bottle to advance in the NCAA tournament. And then Alabama or another SEC program comes and steals him. Or I can just go build a team of high school kids. Nobody's going to come steal them. I've still got to win my conference tournament to get in the NCAA tournament, and I'm still probably going to get bounced to the field of 64. So what's the difference? Why even try? So you're getting a lot of that now of why even try to play the NIL game if I'm on that level of basketball. They're just – some of these coaches are just surrendering the game now.
Accepting that we're going to be the farm team, and if we find a high school great, that he's going to be with us 1 year, 2 years.
Or I'll just go try to win my conference tournament with 5 good recruits and make the field of 64 and get bounced, which is probably what I was going to do anyway.
Yeah. Interesting times, and just the roster movement there, 70%. And depending on which services you look at, more than 70% of the group of 5 first-team all-conference players off those rosters now coming into this new year of college football, which starts in 114 days. All right, when we come back, our Shunnarah Spotlight, the latest, Bill Belichick defending his 24-year-old girlfriend, CBS firing back on Belichick's comments, and then the New York Post dropping in. And would you call it a hand grenade?
Yeah, they kind of buried the lead a little bit, if you ask me.
They roll one out there. The latest in that saga on the other side, right here on the next round, brought to you by our friends at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino. They provide you our beautiful studio here. We're back in a moment on TNR.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
This hour of the Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Heupel Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Heupel are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Heupel Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954, That is Heupel Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Two things that brought out some emotions for me before we get back to our conversation about Bill Belichick here in a second. Show brought to you by our friends at Champy's, world famous fried chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the crew there. Unbelievable food here. Just unbelievable. Always consistent. Best chicken you'd want to taste. Brined overnight, cooked to order, piping hot. It's juicy down to the bone. Sterling puts so much effort into this to make sure the same quality of food comes to your table every time you go by there. It's been that way for over a decade at the same location. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, the wonderful sides. It's just great Southern comfort food. Sometimes you just need it. You just need it deep down in your Southern roots. You just need it. That's what Sterling provides for you right there at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. First off, anger emotion.
You?
Yeah. Rob Manfred and President Trump have been talking about reinstating Pete Rose. We could have done this 5 years ago.
Of course we could have.
We could have done this 7 years ago. To do it right after he's dead, it just sort of makes me a little angry. I mean, it'll be good for his family, for the fans, the Reds organization, maybe for baseball to put that chapter behind them. But, man, he's dead now.
Well, it just makes you look
dead.
so petty in your stance that you don't do it until he dies. Like, you could have done this. I mean, everybody knew Pete was getting old. I mean, Pete was in his 80s, right, when he passed?
Well, I thought when Bart Giamatti passed that you probably, and that's been forever ago, that you probably get this thing done. It is very, very petty. And for it to continue to carry over, because it's not like, you know, I think behind the scenes there probably was some back and forth with Pete Rose and some of the guys that were handling baseball back when this went down. All those guys are dead and gone, though.
Yeah, but to me, when you give somebody a lifetime ban in anything or a lifetime suspension, only to lift it after they die, all you have said is, We didn't really want it to be a lifetime. We just didn't want him to enjoy it.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you've said.
No, we
right
wanted
there.
it to be his lifetime.
Yeah, we wanted it to be his life. It wasn't a lifetime ban. It was a Pete Rose lifetime ban.
Wasn't forever. It was just until Pete died.
We just wanted to make sure he wasn't here to enjoy it. That's all you're saying when you do it that way.
Yeah, that one made me mad. This one just made me sad. Do you know what happened November 18th, 2023 in a North Alabama football game?
Say that again.
Do you know what happened in November 18th, 2023 in a North Alabama football game?
University of North Alabama?
Yeah, UNA.
You know, I don't.
No idea.
Awkward tackle that injured then Florida State quarterback Jordan Travis.
I remember watching it at the time. That was a tight game, and I flipped over. I mean, just randomly flipped over right before he got hurt. And I remember thinking, well, that's going to affect the national championship.
This sucks. I saw this release yesterday.
Jordan Travis announces his retirement from football.
Man.
He never comes back from that injury. Handwritten, by the way. Just sadness in that, a different journey now for him. It talks about how life can change in a snap of a finger right there, and it did for him on November 18th, 2023. I don't know what he would have been in the NFL. I know he's pretty darn good that year at Florida State. They'd have been in the playoffs if he doesn't get hurt.
I mean, he was good enough to get drafted still by the Jets. And
Fifth
for him
round.
to still be part of that organization. So, he would have had a fighting shot. I thought Jordan Travis is a really, really good quarterback. And it's crazy in today's sports medicine and how advanced we are and how, some guy will tear an ACL and you would have thought, back in the 80s his career is probably over, but he's back out playing 6 months later. And then this happens. But the same thing was it McKenzie Milton or Milton McKenzie, the quarterback for UCF?
Yeah, McKenzie Milton, I believe.
Yeah, and then he went, ironically, to Florida State and, had that moment on that first game of the year against Notre Dame, I think it was. But it just never was the same. And it's kind of crazy that you've still got guys that are, ending their career with injuries.
Yeah. I mean, everybody in this state remembers Tyrone Prothro doing it. It was terrible. I just remember, it was such awful timing for everything involved. But, I just remember flipping over to that game, and you want to talk about a stadium that went in deep, deep depression.
Absolutely.
When they saw him getting carted off, everybody there knew.
Absolutely.
And I still think the College Football Playoff Committee made the right decision. We saw how bad Florida State was without Jordan Travis.
Yeah, they
63-3 against Georgia.
Yeah, they made the right.
But that sucked for them.
Yeah. All right. Let's move to the spotlight now if we can. It's brought to you by Alexander Shunnarah. Tyler's going to hit the big button right about now.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shunnarah Spotlight, presented by our guy Alexander Shunnarah. They've recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
Bill Belichick releases from the desk of Bill Belichick. I don't even think through official North Carolina communication channels, that the CBS interview was a false narrative that was intended to make Jordon Hudson look controlling, give a false narrative about her during that interview, that it was selectively edited in selective clips to make her look bad and controlling of the interview. Now, LT, we talked yesterday about a TMZ report. TMZ, so good. She stormed out at one point. I guess that was 2 days ago. There was another twist yesterday. I can't remember what yesterday's twist was about, but it was something else in yesterday's twist.
You made me do it? Was that yesterday where she released the email?
No, that was because I was on the show. That was Monday when the email.
What was yesterday? Yesterday
there was a twist
something.
yesterday, too. I can't remember what yesterday's twist was.
Well, how about this? I bet North Carolina is sick of this coming up. And you're coming off a 6 and 7. You're paying him a lot of money. You bring Michael Lombardi in. You're paying him a lot of money. Let's focus on Gio Lopez and what this offense is going to do this year.
I asked Andy Staples about, and Andy was talking about it on his podcast today, when he was on the show yesterday, about could this end up being North Carolina's Mike Price? Do you think he, the poll question, the betting, actually, I think you can place a bet on this offline at bet one of those offshore betting lines. Is Bill Belichick the coach at North Carolina in game 1 of 2026? So nobody's saying in 2025. But you're saying you think maybe some North Carolina people are starting to regret this. That's what I asked Andy yesterday. Is there any way this falls apart before the start of this season?
I don't know unless there's something really salacious. I mean, Mike Price, the interesting thing there is Mike Price goes from Pullman, not knowing what he's getting into, going to a high-profile place in Tuscaloosa in Alabama football. Bill Belichick is going way down.
He is.
You're going from, at one point, the highest profile organization in all of sports, maybe with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and now you're going to kind of a middle-of-the-run ACC program in North Carolina.
Andy made a great point, though. Andy said, the difference in those two situations, though, what was the title of Andy's show today? You were telling me, or what was Andy talking about his show?
I forget what it was. It did not mention Mike Price, but it got to that conversation.
Yeah. But Andy made the point, like, the Mike Price situation was an athletic director hiring a coach that wasn't necessarily popular with the boosters. So the minute the boosters had a chance to get him out of there, they did it. In this situation, it was the boosters pushing for a coach that the athletic director didn't want.
Or the president.
Or the president. Yeah, they wanted to go John Summerall or somebody that was a college coach, and the boosters got enamored with Bill Belichick. So it's going to take the boosters getting upset about this to say, okay, we screwed this up, let's get rid of it.
And again, I don't know what could be involved that would get him out before they kick off against TCU on September 1st. The wins and losses, that'll take care of itself. If it's a disaster and they're 3-9 this year, then I could easily see something happen in the offseason. And I'm starting to think if there was something salacious about this chick, somebody would have found something out by now.
A lot of people are working on it. Several people have Freedom of Information Act with every correspondence between her and North Carolina officials. So they're looking for that. And Bill's a North Carolina official, so if he's doing it on a computer that is a North Carolina computer, you've got to turn that over because you're a state institution. So there's some stuff that could come out along the way here. CBS did respond, by the way, to the Belichick false narrative claim. No preconditions or limitations were put on our interview with the publisher. We double-checked before. We double-checked after. The publisher was okay with the interview, and that's what CBS says there. And then there's the New York Post, Brown.
So the story, as everybody is digging into who is this Jordon Hudson, the story begins this way. You guys tell me what this says. Bill Belichick's spry girlfriend, Jordon Hudson, has amassed a New England real estate portfolio worth about $8 million. She's 24, reportedly. $8 million real estate portfolio, all amassed within months of the fisherman's daughter meeting the 73-year-old expatriates coach.
So the fisherman's daughter,
that's Jordon Hudson,
meets the rich old man,
Bill Belichick,
starts using his clout and his credit line to build up a big land grab portfolio.
She learned from Pops how to bring in the big one, right?
Yeah. She did.
Yeah, her net looks a little different than his.
That's right. So the story goes into great detail about all of the houses she has bought and where they are. They've got photos. They have done a deep dive into this because it's all publicly available. So $8 million that she has racked up in all these houses, right?
So I don't know what the number is where she can cut loose of him. But even if she's got a prenup now and can't tag any of his money, she's using his money to build up her own.
You saw what the Deion Brand did for Colorado and the money he's making now. What Belichick has done for Jordon Hudson, like she could cut bait right now and she's probably going to be just fine. Again, I said I wouldn't be surprised if you see an OnlyFans by Christmas.
As Yahoo says, Brownie, Deion stood tall while the noise whirled around him. Belichick is likely going to do the same. He's going to stand tall and make North Carolina must-see TV this year.
Yeah.
If you had him on right now, if he decided to jump on right now on the next round, what's the first question you'd ask him?
I think I would start with, how'd you meet Jordan?
No, I think that's the question. I think because Belichick was such a dick to media for so long, I think we all need to stick with this universal question until it gets answered. It easily could get answered. But why would you not continue to follow up on that? It's such a simple question.
We named our quarterback today Gio Lopez. Anybody got a question?
Yeah.
How did you meet Jordan?
Yeah, good for Gio.
And then he just walks out.
So $8 million, 24-year-old, her reportedly only source of income is the chairman of Belichick Productions.
Right, which isn't a real production company. It's just something like I used to when I would play as a 11-year-old downstairs in my grandmother's house, just a created thing.
Right.
You say it's not real. Might be on his phone real.
All the purchases were made under an LLC. She was the borrower, Hudson was. So the LLC could be Belichick Productions. I don't know, but there are reports. But sometimes you just quit reading a story and you miss some things, right?
Yeah.
You would have in this situation too. Deep in the story after highlighting.
That wasn't the grenade.
That was the grenade.
Okay.
Deep in the story after highlighting all the purchases, after showing photos of all the houses she's purchased, going into the fact that she was the borrower and it was almost $8 million worth of purchases, we go to her backstory. And there's a little detail about her family I did not know. Hudson was raised in Hancock, Maine, to parents who ran a fishing business that went bankrupt after their fishing grounds were closed in 2000. Sad story. Her mother eventually moved to Provincetown on Cape Cod, where she manages a sex toy shop and museum.
Wow.
Here we go.
Interesting line of business.
Scratching the surface.
Yes. A sex toy shop and museum.
Yeah, a museum.
Museum is the one that, I mean, like, say, all right, there are sex toy shops out there, right?
Yeah.
But the museum aspect of it.
Yeah, what do you put in the museum?
Well, probably don't want to Google
see
it.
here in the glass,
Yes.
this is Rabbit 1, the 1.0.
Well, I mean, did we not? I mean, the state of Alabama had dildos like banned for.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you've got the first one that was ever banned from the state of Alabama. And who walks through there? And like, who has the balls to ask somebody, hey, do you want to go to the sex toy museum?
Is it just a shop? Is there a museum? No, there's a museum.
Yeah. Second floor, we got rides.
Hey. You know,
at least there's an educational floor. I want to learn something.
Hey, you know, sadly, this place will probably blow up now because now it'll be like, I just went to see it because of Jordon Hudson. Like, I didn't care anything about seeing a sex toy museum.
Yeah.
It's known in the sex world as the Smithsonian.
That's good. That's good, right? No, don't grow. Dunaway had two good lines there.
Yeah,
he really
Smithsonian is pretty good.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, look, some people's parents are mafia bosses, and they end up they're never in the mafia. They're not made men. They go do their own thing.
But it's easier to make that transition.
It is. I'm not just saying because her mom does this that it has anything to do with the daughter. I am saying that was a rather interesting line to bury at the end of the end of the article.
I feel really good. I mean, my speculation is it went from a more formal relationship to
casual.
He kind of dug it a little bit. Again, just watching Nora.
Scott says bracket payoff has to involve the museum.
Yeah.
Jordan's mom's museum.
Well, I hope
That'd be a good one.
I hope the shop expands to Alabama. I'd love to have Bill's stuff as an advertiser.
BB's shop.
That'd be good. Hey, the show brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision, LT.
Dr. Mark Michelson, the first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama way back in 1995. True pioneer. If you call somebody in Chicago right now, an optometrist. Yeah, that too.
Optometrist?
Yeah, and you are like, hey, I'm getting LASIK done in the state of Alabama. They're all going to tell you Dr. Michelson. He's written books on this. He is the best in the business. Speaking from experience, I got the procedure done more than 20 years ago. I still have 2015 vision, better than 2020. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. For more information, you can always go online, michelsonlaservision.com.
All right. Hey, if you're looking at baseball, by the way, and I saw this stat yesterday, and the Marlins got swept by the Dodgers. But it was the largest difference in salary in Major League Baseball history. The Dodgers' salary, just over $476 million. The Marlins, $69 million. Shohei Ohtani himself makes more than the entire Marlins roster this year.
That's really incredible.
$414.6 million difference between these two franchises. In fact, the luxury tax, this from Yahoo Sports, the luxury tax that the Dodgers will pay this year is larger than half of Major League Baseball's payroll. Half, not just the lower end, not just the Rays, the A's, the Marlins. Half of Major League Baseball's payroll for the entire team is less than the luxury tax that the Dodgers are going to pay on their payroll. And one more perspective here. When Moneyball was written, the difference between the Yankees who was the highest payroll team that year, and the A's, who were doing the money ball, where they were doing cheap, was $85 million. That was the difference between the two.
Yeah, it's a salary and a half now.
Yeah.
Yearly.
That's
salary.
unbelievable.
It was such a crazy difference, Jim. They literally did a movie about it. They made a movie about it.
This is what it's the good and bad of being a Dodger fan, is going back to your Texas question. Is it a no-win situation? It really is for the Dodgers, because even if they win a championship, well, you won one last year, you won one in 2020. It's not even fair right now. So the expectation is, and really, the Dodgers sitting at 21-10 when you're playing, winning 68% of your games. That's still a little disappointing.
It is. That's you're only a game and a half above the Padres, who've spent a lot of money.
Yeah, they're not.
And like the Mets have spent a lot of money, and you got the same exact record as the Mets right now.
But I will say it's irony that it's the Marlins who have basically bought 2 world championships. They bought at least one. The first one they completely bought.
I don't know about the second. Well, the one with Leland, they 1,000% with
Bonilla, Sheffield, Kevin Brown. Yeah, they went out and they just bought everybody they could to win a championship.
Yeah, the other one with Pudge.
Yeah, maybe I'm overstating.
They just got
that.
a little hot. Maybe
I'm overstating that, but they certainly bought their first one. There's no doubt about it. Back when they were playing at Joe Robbie.
Look, when you do a one-off like that, you roll the dice. Much like always comes back to the Rams getting Stafford for a couple of first rounds and went all in without those first-round picks, and you won it, you risked it, you got it. It wasn't that big of a deal, but, with the Dodgers, it literally is championship or bust.
Aaron Judge hit his 10th home run yesterday, and the Yankees lost. Braves lost to the Rockies. Braves off today. Big weekend in Atlanta. If you want to see the $476 million Los Angeles Dodgers, they're in Atlanta for 3 games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You Braves fan, I'm sure, circled the Dodgers in town, a chance to go see Shohei and the crew over in Atlanta. More on that series coming up on the Pennant Grace with Emily Grace McWhorter and Josh coming up, Josh Sisk. Later today, that'll be live at 12:15. Set your alerts every Tuesday and Thursday for the Pennant Grace coming up at 12:15. Of course, the Meltdown later today at 2 o'clock, as it is every day, Monday through Friday, with our buddy Melton and Tyler behind the big glass there as they talk about everything going on in the world. And, the decline of movie theaters we talked about earlier on the show. They've got all your pop culture for you on the Meltdown coming up at 2 o'clock a little bit later today. The show being brought to you by our friends at the Regions Tradition. We're getting ready to get out there in about 2 weeks.
That's right. The events this time of year, they come fast and furious.
Can I tell you a dream off the Regions Tradition?
Sure.
The big story, because we'll be in the Coca-Cola interview room. In my dream, this was 2 nights ago, and it was the weirdest dream ever. And I don't know what happened to Kalen DeBoer, but he couldn't coach anymore. And Nick Saban was coming out of retirement to come back to Alabama, and it was announced on the Wednesday at the Regions Tradition right before we were supposed to interview Nick Saban. Now, our buddy Josh Maxson was still there helping Nick Saban in my dream, and Josh was like, hey, the interview's not happening. And we're like, it's got to happen.
Come on, Josh, we got to talk to the coach.
And it's breaking news now. No, it's not happening. He's got to talk to, I think Reese Davis was the guy he was going to talk to, but he's going to get hooked
Reese
up.
Had flown in.
He was going to get up in the headset, and no, it was going to be one of those headset
At least
interviews.
it wasn't Rick and Bubba that bumped us.
But I was like, well, what happened? What happened to DeBoer in my dream? I woke up. I don't know what happened to Kalen. I don't know why in May we're deciding Nick Saban's going to coach Alabama again, and it was happening at the Regions Tradition, and it was my freaking dream. How do we not get the interview, Josh Maxson?
That's true. Yeah. You were in control of that,
dream.
I would think. Yes.
It's my dream.
The Legends of Golf returning to Birmingham. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, is there at Greystone May 14th through 18th. See some of golf's greatest names like Ernie Els, John Daly, Stuart Sink compete for one of golf's most prestigious titles on the Champions Tour. 4 days of thrilling shots, unforgettable moments, world-class golf, all in support of local charities. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets now. We'll be out there for Pro-Am Day as always, and the Coca-Cola Conversations. There as the coaches and players come off and celebrities come off the course. RegionsTradition.com.
Okay. Hey, You get Texas and Arkansas, number 1 Texas, number 11 Arkansas, 6 o'clock on ESPN2. Auburn set a record in attendance this year in college baseball. Bama may set a record in college baseball. Both those teams will be in the postseason. Just a big year of SEC baseball going on.
Is the SEC baseball better than the SEC basketball was? I think probably so.
I don't think so now. I think they're just beating up on each other right now. I don't think so yet. There's a chance it could be when it's all said and done. I think basketball last year slightly ahead of where baseball is right now. And speaking of big purchases, but not having to rely on your boyfriend who's 73, Eli Manning and a group of people, investors, are looking to buy into 10% of the New York Giants. That'd be that's got to be like an $8 billion franchise, right?
Easy,
yeah. I was going to say that probably is close to $1 billion investment.
Yeah, for 10% of that. It's crazy where these franchises have gone. But you'd want to be even a minority owner of these things because right now they're not losing value.
They're not.
They keep going up.
Neither are the Mannings, by the way. I mean, Cooper is a very successful businessman. Archie has been a very successful businessman, and it seems like everything Peyton and Eli touch turns to gold.
Yep.
I mean, you're not going to lose money on an NFL franchise. They used to say that about real estate.
Yeah.
That NFL franchise ain't going backwards.
Especially in New York.
Especially in New York City.
The Giants ain't going nowhere.
That's right.
All right, when we come back, a new trend that is out there involving people making calls to season ticket holders to try to get you to rebuy your season tickets. A couple of big ones on social media yesterday. And we'll do trash. It's all coming up on the other side of the show, brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Go by and see Sterling and the crew down there, just the best in the world when it comes to customer service. Just people we want to hang out with. The bar scene there is fantastic, especially during happy hour. Just some good old folks sitting around after a hard day's work on their way home. Just off Highway 119 in Alabaster for over a decade. The great food for lunch or dinner. It's just unbelievable. And the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, if you've never had tamales with a Mississippi Delta recipe, this is the style you want. This is the flavor you want. It's a perfect taste, a little spice to them, not just a bland flavor. They do it best at Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com, Highway 119 in Alabaster.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Birmingham's favorite lawn party is back. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Greystone May 14th through 18th. Watch golf's greatest legends and don't miss the star-studded Celebrity Pro-Am, featuring Nick Saban, Charles Barkley, Nate Oates, Hugh Freeze, and country star Riley Green. Soak up the sun at the White Claw Watering Hole and Casamigos Club. Enjoy the local food trucks and cap off the fun with Monsters of Yacht in concert Saturday following play. The Regions Tradition, presented by Coca-Cola. Get your tickets now.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time. So try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
The 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show, presented by AmFirst, is May 9th through the 11th on Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. The Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show is totally free to the public. Bama's biggest in-water boat show, 80 boats, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, and live music all weekend long. There's fireworks on Friday night to honor veterans, a mermaid parade on Saturday, and free mimosas for Mama on Sunday. All by going to LoganMartinLakeFest.com, LoganMartinLakeFest.com. Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
All right, we were just talking about our friends at Coca-Cola during the commercial break. We look forward to being back at the Regions Tradition and our Coca-Cola stage out there with some great interviews. I assume Coach Saban's going to play in that thing again this year.
I would think so. I haven't seen the full list.
I haven't either. I can't wait to see that list of who will be out there, and we'll get a chance to chat some people up. It's always fun to see that every year. Before we get to trash and before LT tells us about Bojangles, a little trend ongoing. Back on social media, by the way, was it Colonel Andrew Luck or Colonel?
Yeah, Colonel Andrew Luck used to write the correspondence back home. Yeah.
Well,
a lot of people tried to copy that.
Yeah, they tried the Bo Nix ripoff.
Yeah, it was never as good.
Well, it's back now, but Andrew's doing real work in the Stanford season ticket office. Andrew Luck calling season ticket folks. He was out there on the phones making those calls in Palo Alto where he was making the call. Hey, it's Andrew Luck. It's Andrew Luck. Da-da-da. Please, we're going in the right direction. Da-da-da-da-da. And then there's Will Wade, cut number 4, Tyler, if you will. Will Wade is now the head coach at NC State. And if you get a call from a number you don't have saved, I don't answer it.
I never do.
Never.
But sometimes you answer it. Maybe it just says North Carolina State and you're a season ticket holder. Would you believe, especially coming off the Shedeur Sanders?
This is not Jack Solbrick, is it?
It is not, but would you believe it's really Will Wade? If you were an NC State fan, listen to Will Wade making season ticket calls.
Teddy, hey, this is Will Wade from NC State men's basketball. How are you?
Get out of here.
What's up, man? Yo.
Yo.
It's Will Wade.
Get out of here.
I'm serious. I'm calling you. You're on the season ticket list. We got to get you to renew your season tickets on the lower sideline, man.
No, man.
Well, I'm serious. Huh?
No, dude. Who is this?
It's Will Wade.
FaceTiming.
You sound like him. This is absurd.
It's me. I'm serious. It's me. I'm calling from Patrick in the ticket office's phone.
Dude, I'm so pumped that you're here. So pumped, man.
We appreciate all your support and love to have you renew your season tickets and make sure you're in Lenovo ready to roll.
Yep. I'm told that he did buy his season tickets, and
you have to after that.
Yeah, he did drop the F-bomb, though, in the middle of the conversation.
Yeah, that's okay, though. But if you put somebody on the spot like that, and that's the video you're going to send out virally, it's got to work out both ways, right? He's got to buy the tickets.
No doubt.
Yeah. Will was getting a kick out of it. He didn't believe it was Will Wade, though.
But it's not like it's John Calipari. I mean, Will Wade established amongst the college basketball ranks, very well respected. But this is what you've got to do if you're NC State's head coach.
Coming off a high-profile prank call weekend, though, too.
It's true. Everybody's on high alert now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is Will Wade.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
You think Nate Oates would do that?
Yeah. I think he would.
Yeah. I mean, maybe not for season tickets. Maybe I'm sure he does it for NIL money.
Yeah, for the collective.
He and Bruce Pearl, I'm sure, have to make calls that they probably don't want to have to make.
I mean, the president of the United States, any party, makes calls sometimes from the Oval Office to big donors to help with the re-election campaign.
You know, I heard what the seats at Coleman were going for on the floor.
Good money.
It's crazy, and what they're going to be going for once they do whatever they're going to do to Coleman Coliseum. So I guess, for those 100 people that are on the court, and he did say lower, right, to this dude?
That's our lower sideline.
Yeah.
Looked like he looked at a big map there. It was pretty cool. Enjoyed that. Our friends at Bojangles, Brownie, bringing you part of the show here today.
That is right. It is bow time when it comes to lunchtime at Bojangles. The bite-sized hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection, perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you're on the go. Just don't call it a nugget. It's Bo Bites. The only hard part, choosing from 6 dipping sauces. One for every craving, from the creamy house-made ranch to the sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. Just depends on the kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today. Discover the dippable, shareable, craveable Bo Bites. It's bow time.
E.G., Emily Grace McWhorter, coming up on the Pennant Grace, was on earlier today on Sirius XM with Peter Burns and Chris Doering on the SEC show over there on Sirius XM. And she was asked this question, since Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend stepped in and said no hard knocks at North Carolina. Should an SEC team say, hey, Hard Knocks, we'll take it? And which school would you want to see Hard Knocks at in the Southeastern Conference for this upcoming season? Which storyline is the most interesting to you? LT looks like he has an answer first. LT.
Well, I think because most people are going to say Texas just because of the numbers you threw out earlier with this roster and because of Arch Manning. And I think a lot of people would think that's fascinating. For me,
my fear on that, LT, would be Arch declined the EA Sports cover. I feel like somehow he would decline doing any interviews, being mic'd up, any of that. I'd be afraid that he would not participate if he would be full participant, I'm with you there. My fear would be Arch would somehow opt out.
Yeah, and Lane Kiffin seems like he'd be really good for reality television, but he's matured, it looks like. So you're not going to get the Lane Kiffin that you're if you had Lane Kiffin on Hinge or Tinder,
right,
swiping left and right, and he was actually talking about it.
But as we point out, Lane Kiffin's best is Lane Kiffin on social media. You don't get that Lane Kiffin in normal life.
So to me, Alabama year 2, Kalen DeBoer, looking for a quarterback, first time they really haven't had an established quarterback in forever. I think that would be fascinating with that brand. Yeah. Now, the only thing is Kalen DeBoer, a lot of people view him as very boring, so that could be a problem.
Kirby Smart, you get a lot of old school just coaching up. A lot of cussing, a lot of motivation.
A lot of arrests.
The high pull with the Nico situation would be interesting a little bit.
He's kind of dull. He doesn't do much for me. I mean, I'm trying to think of an entertaining coach. Like Pittman could be entertaining, but
Eli Drinkwitz.
So annoying, that guy.
You don't find Beamer at South Carolina as hokey as Dabo, but he's got a little bit.
He does, yeah.
But it seems like
I think he'd get hokey fast.
Seems like a fun team that could be. They've got boomer bust potential.
Well, I'll tell you, Auburn could be interesting too, because you might have one of the best hidden gems out there in Jackson Arnold. You got Hugh Freeze. I mean, I hate to bring up the cancer thing, but there's an angle there. Hugh Freeze, very personable guy as well, and Hugh Freeze is on a hot seat whether or not he wants to admit it. So there are some angles there with the Auburn program as well.
Yep. Kentucky's a non-starter for me. Vandy's a non-starter for me.
So many of the coaches are boring. Like I'm thinking Florida, again, boomer bust potential for them. So many storylines.
Elko doesn't look like he's entertaining to me.
Elko doesn't look entertaining. No, neither does Napier at Florida.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Pittman would be better in a boat with Bill Dance than on a football reality show.
Got a lugger. Is that what they called it?
A lugger?
A lugger, L-U-G-G-E-R?
Actually, the more I look at this, I don't know if there would be any that would be really fun.
Yeah. But would Belichick have even been fun?
No. Yeah. He's dull.
I mean, if you got full access to what's going on, it might be boring after 1 or 2 episodes.
I mean, yeah,
But if you got to go home with Jordon Hudson and she took you back and you got to meet Mom and Mom's
museum, Mom's giving you a tour of her office. Here's my workplace.
Interesting there question with Peter and Doring and Emily Grace earlier today on Sirius XM. That gets us to trash today. It is brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. It's easy to drink and, of course, it's easy to enjoy.
Now, if that's too much, 12 different appetizers to choose from. I'm a fried dickle pickle man. I'm a fried dill pickle man.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Boy, what a theme we're on today. Do you guys remember the name Bonnie Blue?
Bonnie Blue, we used to play a game on AM 690. I say it all the time just so I can set it up for you, Jim or not, where I really didn't know what Brown was asking a question. I would give an answer, and then the caller would have to say, is Jim really know what he's talking about, or is he lying? Bonnie Blue, to me, was one of those people in the black and white, off Hollywood film industry. They were always dressed like dominatrix movies and photos. Bonnie Blue was a big model back, I'm going to say, 1950s and 60s black and white dominatrix.
I'm going to say Betty Boop, right? Is that what where he was going there with Bonnie Blue?
Bonnie Blue is Betty Boop, according to Jim. Well, she was never dressed as a dominatrix.
I wouldn't say that's how she was dressed.
No.
Oh, am I miscomparing?
No, I mean, you're making this up in your mind, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out where you're going, and I think it's more Betty Boop.
Betty Boop was the name of that person?
I would
Betty
say.
Boop was a cartoon character.
Yeah, can you pull Betty Boop real quick? I don't want to throw you off
They
there.
did
Jeeves.
a movie on this lady, Brown.
No, they did not.
Yeah, called Cover Girl or Pinup Girl or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it was the Betty Boop thing.
That's Betty Boop.
Yeah, that's a cartoon.
Okay, the real life Betty Boop. If
there's a real life Betty Boop?
No, I guess not. I don't know.
I will say, there is a real Betty Boop. Is that who you're thinking of, Jim?
Nope. But nope.
Oh.
But you know the movie I'm talking about, right?
I do know the movie you're
There's
talking about.
like a murder twist to it or something.
That might have been the Black Dahlia.
That's what it was. The Black Dahlia.
Elizabeth Short.
It's
Elizabeth
crazy that Dunaway is so bad at this, but we can read his mind.
It is so weird how often I know what he's talking about when he doesn't know what he's talking about.
But that is it, the Black Dahlia.
Okay,
But that was based on a real person.
It was, yeah. I mean, I still don't think they ever solved that mystery.
They never did. She was trying to make it in the film industry and saw one of those doctors that ran their office out of their basement. And
you never want that.
Never
next
good.
time somebody saw her, she was
missing her head and hands, right?
Yeah, she was missing pieces.
Yeah, not good. Bonnie Blue, though, here we go. Local football club has announced their controversial new sponsor, an OnlyFans model, the one that had sex with over 1,000 people in one day.
Well, she's like the Silverback.
You guys remember this story, right? Just a couple of months ago on Trash.
I do.
Now, she is the new sponsor for Calstock FC after one of the players revealed to the group that Bonnie was his cousin. I wonder how that conversation starts.
He hears a lot of comments about Bonnie before he ever throws out, guys, by the way, she's my cousin.
Now, the football club that dubs themselves, quote, a drinking team with a football problem, took advantage of the celebrity connection, asked Bonnie to be their new away kit sponsor. Dunaway, a kit is?
That's a uniform in soccer.
There you go. I love how they have home and away sponsorships. Now, Tia Emma Billinger, known professionally as Bonnie Blue, is an English OnlyFans model. She has been controversial for creating content with university students and married men.
I think model is we're going to need to go air quotes there.
Most famously known for having sex with 1,057 men in one day. Bonnie and her management agreed to sponsor, I love she's got management now, the Division II team, which sees a royal blue shirt with a BB and up the Bonnie Blue Bees on the back.
She has her own logo?
Of course.
Yeah, according to this.
Of course.
Now, Ben Williams, who is one of the Calstock FC players, said, quote, what makes it so comical is that we're not the best football club, but we're sponsored by one of the most famous women on the planet. I think that's a stretch.
Again, we're going to need air quotes on that, too.
Now, we've received some hate online, but at the end of the day, it's just a football shirt and a good-looking football shirt at that.
Yeah.
Now, the club announced their controversial collaboration on Instagram with a reel that has over 800,000 viewers. In the announcement post, they wrote, quote, this collaboration goes beyond mere branding. It symbolizes our commitment to embrace boldness, innovation, and a spirit of fearless individuality on and off the pitch.
I don't think any of those three when I think of
I love whoever had to create this, man. You got to put a spin on this.
Yes, we need a good PR team.
If anybody wants one of these jerseys, they're apparently available for 30 pounds.
30 pounds?
30 pounds.
How much is that in dollars?
That's about $30, isn't it?
It's like 40-ish.
No, I think it's the other way around now. Okay. I think the American dollar is better than the pound.
I don't think so.
Anyway, I think it's somewhat close, and you couldn't pay me 30 pounds to wear it.
No.
You guys know.
No, Jim's right. $1 is 1.75 pounds sterling.
Yeah. So I nailed that one. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Jim.
So is that $25?
Yeah, it's basically $27 for a $30 jersey.
30 sterling is $40.
We're talking pounds, though, Brad.
30 pounds sterling.
First of all, we're all bad at math, and we're trying to convert.
I'm not going to order this. I'd go shirtless.
Yeah, I would too.
Team colors are blue and white, I guess.
When I initially saw this, I thought there's no way these guys are alive. I don't know if you guys saw it, but a speedboat went airborne.
I did.
Did a complete backward flip while racing at about 200 miles per hour before crashing into an Arizona lake.
Are these cigar boats? They used to be why you would watch it on ESPN2. They'd have those boat races, and if you got too fast, it would flip over.
It's one of the strangest events I've ever done, Jim. They had one of these on the Coosa back in the day, and I was the PA guy for it. And it was these types.
That thing's going 200 miles an hour on the Coosa?
It might not have been 200. It could have been my drunk uncle.
No, there's one on Lake Martin. Somebody has one on Lake Martin.
They got one of these type boats, these speedboats?
Yeah.
I didn't know that they were illegal.
They don't open them up, but
I would hope not.
Yeah.
You see somebody going 35, it's like, damn, they're flying. Now, 2 racers inside of the boat's covered cabin survived the event, which saw the boat go over 30 feet in the air. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Now, they have the video of this as well.
They wore harnesses and helmets and, quote, were just a little banged up, according to the social media post on Facebook by the Freedom One racing team and an account by a race witness.
Yeah, that's not a cigar boat.
Saturday crash took place on a 3/4 mile course at the annual speedboat race. Flying Boat still managed to cross the finish line and win the contest.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
This is Will.
Yep.
They registered the top speed just a little over 200 miles per hour. They went on to say the twin-hull skater boat is designed to rise up, hydroplane across the surface of the water. Windy conditions and propeller adjustments called trims likely contributed to the boat taking flight.
All right, here's the video.
Here's the yeah.
Oof. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
That's very light.
Yeah.
It's a light boat.
After the flip, you think they're back in the water, right?
There's the line, too. Look, they just get over
that. Yeah. They do just cross the finish line. Yep, he won.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see another boat. I don't know who they beat.
Somebody way behind him, Brown. Come on, John. We can finish second.
Slow and steady wins the race. I promise you they'll wreck.
Did the Floribama not have a cigar boat at one point? Did we not get on that?
Yeah, I mean, they had I don't know if I call that a cigar boat. I don't know what I would call it.
Cigar boats, I just remember, it was a big thing in Miami, and you could run those from Miami to Cuba.
Yeah, to get cigars.
Maybe that's what they call it.
I think that's what they call them.
I thought it was the shape.
Pretty crazy. They had divers on hand, and they responded to this crash within 20 seconds.
Oh. They had to wait for the other boat to cross the finish line.
And those divers are probably like, man, I cannot believe we got to work today.
Yep. We're going down there for nothing.
So an 87-year-old Florida man arrested yesterday for domestic battery after tangling with his wife when she sought to turn the air conditioning down in the couple's residence.
Well, it's normally the other way in my house. We do not tangle, and I'll not get arrested.
But I think turn it down, they might be turn it up.
Make it hotter?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I don't know,
I've never heard it called that.
Well, it looks like she had it at 73, and they're trying to take it to 70?
Yeah.
Well, she looks like she's trying to turn it up, though, right?
Hey, look,
well, this
70.
is a stock photo, so it has nothing to do with the story. It's just a picture of a thermostat.
Okay, longest source of marital strife, control of the thermostat, triggered a 7 a.m. confrontation Monday between Charles Ingram, pictured right there, and his 85-year-old spouse. Investigators say Ingram returned to the couple's St. Petersburg home and, quote, argued with the victim, his wife, about the air conditioner. The woman touched the thermostat to turn the air down, prompting Ingram to allegedly push the victim away from the thermostat against the wall. When questioned by police, Ingram reportedly admitted to pushing her first, then stated the victim pushed him back. Ingram was arrested for domestic violence, with the charge enhanced to a felony due to his prior battery convictions that date back more than 4 decades. Now, his original rap sheet includes a 1985 felony welfare fraud conviction. Ingram is scheduled to appear in court this afternoon. Judge likely will order him to have no contact with his wife and bar him from returning to the couple's residence, which they purchased in 1971. This is sad. Like, where's this guy going to go?
Yeah. What's the highest number, lowest number on your thermostat that you ever hit?
Oh, no, it happens every night. When it's time for Maggie to go to bed, my wife, she goes to bed early. I don't go to bed usually until around 11 to 1 in the morning somewhere. So I am upstairs in my sports area, probably separated by about 7 stairs. So somewhere about stair 4 is usually a low pressure system where
little tornado right there.
She's 66 downstairs and I'm 71 upstairs. the
So she
perfect-
likes it colder than you?
Oh yeah, Brown.
God,
Look at
this
me.
is-
I'm 173 pounds. I'm barely anything.
Thank you, Way
I'm
Wellness.
bone, skin, and
I know.
no hair.
I know.
I've got nothing keeping the warm air in me anymore.
Yeah, but she still weighs less than you.
She does. I mean, she
and most women are the ones that want to be really
That's what
hot.
But at that point, she's going to bed, right? So we
Right.
both of us love to sleep on heavy, covers, even in the summertime.
Yeah.
So we like to be bundled up when it's cold. It's sort of comforting.
Yeah.
Right. So 66, a great sleep. I love it when I go
Yeah.
to bed. But when I'm setting up, no, because I'm usually in shorts and a sweatshirt, no hair, no socks. So I'm losing heat at both sides. So
Well,
it's 66.
you put on
a little
socks.
tornadic adventure
Yeah.
about stair 4 and
Right.
71 upstairs.
665 is the lowest a lot of those will go.
Not one hotel room we stayed at on some road trip. Brown found one that went to 58 one
Yeah,
time.
I got one down in the 50s one time. Now, I saw this hack. I don't know if
And
it's
it
true.
probably it froze up, didn't
Well,
it?
it may have. I don't know. It was a
Not
big
your
hotel.
problem.
People on the 3 floors above him had no air.
You know who didn't have to call out Hemphill? Me.
Right.
It was that hotel.
Hey, if it's going to freeze up, cap it, right?
Yeah, it's your fault.
It was such a big moment in Brown's life that he called me. He's like, "Hey man, how low will your thermostat go?" And I'm like, "I don't know. It's set on 70." He's like, "I've got mine down to 58.
I'm below the 60s.
I've never seen one go to 58 before."
I always have. Tyler, I just kept hitting the button down to see how low it'd go.
The things
Like,
Brown
we-
gets excited about on the road trip.
I know that. Coffee.
We'd been in the hotel room 45 seconds, a different room. He's calling me. He's like, "Hey, I got the thermostat to 58."
Oh, that's the first thing. That's not the first thing you do. Well, no, because you don't like it cold. First thing I do is go into a hotel room, shut it down, get the blackout blinds closed or curtains, whatever you call them, and then turn it down as low as it'll go. I mean, by the time I leave a hotel room, so when we're in Atlanta for SEC Media Days, we'll be in a hotel room 3 or 4 days. By the time I leave, I want icicles hanging in there. Like, I want it to be a refrigerator. When you open the door, it takes your breath away. That's my ideal hotel room. Now, that's when I'm by myself. Jennifer will not go for that.
Yeah, I normally keep my apartment at like 67, 68.
Yeah,
right
that's
around
good living
there.
right there, Tyler.
I think I'm most comfortable when it's cold, but I've got like just shorts and a hoodie on.
Yeah.
But you guys are the reason we pay so much for everything. If you just keep everything at 70 degrees, which is perfectly fine year-round, 70 in the winter, 70 in the summer. If
70 's way
it's
too
70
hot.
degrees,
I'll get it
you
up
guys with
69,
your
70.
extremes, power bills would go down. There'd be more energy for everybody. We wouldn't have global warming.
Who you, Al Gore?
Everything would be better if you just all leave it at 70.
Yeah.
What's wrong with 70?
It's too hot in the summer,
Yeah.
Jim. I want
sound
it
like
colder
that,
than that.
that fake Neil Bargatze
I-
comedian.
I am-
70. What's wrong with 70? I'm a fat guy. 70 should be fine. I got
a-
a stain on my sweatshirt.
I'm 70 right now.
Ooh, I'm
But
60.
it's April or May now.
Yeah, boy, you let it get in the summer. We'll crank that baby
But see, in
down.
the summertime, 72 should feel like 70 right now.
What are you talking about?
Well,
That
when,
doesn't even
when
make
it's
sense.
100 outside and you walk in, if it's
No.
72, it's going to be great.
No.
It's 88 outside now. You walk in and it's 70, it feels like 70.
You're incorrect.
Finally, Southwest Airlines flight. I've seen a lot on flights. I've never seen anything like this, thank God.
I'm
Was
on a
met by
Southwest a
police
week from today, so don't tell me.
and medical personnel in Chicago after a female passenger reportedly stripped naked, middle of the flight, and defecated on her seat. That's forcing the plane out of service for cleaning. Now,
I
flight
would hope.
418 from Philadelphia to Chicago's Midway Airport, already part of a turbulent stretch for Southwest Airlines, which has faced a series of high-profile disruptions, including a recent engine fire in Houston. Now, chaos broke out aboard when the woman removed her clothes, defecated on her seat during the flight. According to NBC Chicago, Southwest Airlines later confirmed that law enforcement and medical teams met the plane upon landing in Chicago to respond to a, quote, situation involving a customer. Now, out of caution, aircraft immediately taken out of service for deep cleaning. The airline has since apologized to passengers for disturbing the incident and resulting in delays.
Well, you can't land those things just anywhere. I mean, that's a long remaining flight with all that having happened already, and there's...
Now, affected travelers were rebooked on other flights, though Southwest has not said whether refunds or compensation will be offered. I would think everybody aboard gets free tickets.
I would hope
right?
so. But if you're a stewardess, there's no way you clean that up, right? If I'm a stewardess, I say, no, thank you. I'm just like a passenger at this point. I ain't
Do you
touching
want to
that.
be Employee of the Month?
Not if that's what it takes.
There is no way that one of those flight attendants would have been rewarded what that experience would have been.
That's right.
worth.
Yes.
No, but somebody's got to bite the bullet and clean it up. There's no way you can be on a tube for that long, wherever you're diverting to.
It ain't me.
I think you call like a biohazard.
Well, but they're not in the air with you.
I don't want to get too deep into the details, but they do have some gloves and masks up there because occasionally they have to deal with vomit and such
they
like
do,
that.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm just asking. No details on soft serve or texture.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah,
No.
But soft serve's a problem because I'm picking up bullet and chilies every day. I go back out in the backyard and I scoop it up.
What do you do with it?
So I got the little green bags. I drop it over the fence, and then garbage comes on Tuesday. So then I'll go get a garbage bag, and I'll scoop them all up, put them in a garbage bag, put them in the Tuesday to go.
Yeah, as I would call it in my house.
I got a routine.
If it's not soft serve, or the other side of that, if it's more 1.5 and not 2.
All right.
If it's more than 1 but not 2 yet, then that's a problem. But if it's a good solid 2,
no.
I mean it's a
I gag thinking about it, Jim.
I can glove and mask up, pick it up,
Negative.
just for the good of the other 67
Carl
people on
Spackler,
board.
he did it.
He did at a pool. It turned out to be a baby Ruth.
I'd bag it up, but I'd also zip tie her to the chair.
Is she crazy? Okay, that's all I got.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy there. Final thought today, brought to you by our friends at Heupel. Hot and cold, we were just talking about running that air conditioner. It's probably a pretty good time to get that thing checked out before Brownie comes to your house and turns it to 58.
Look, unfortunately, these things break down, and you've got to replace them. The good news is our friends at Heupel Services, the name Birmingham has trusted since 1954. Incredible deal on the HVAC units, $1,000 off plus 0% financing. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, HempillServices.com.
I want to end with some of you Alabama fans out there who probably wished harm on this guy at some point, and I may or may not have been that guy too. But there was a moment in time, Brownie LT, that Hunter Renfrow was a pain in Alabama's backside. And it probably at some point you said, man, I wish bad things would happen to Hunter Renfrow. He's catching touchdown passes against Alabama.
Well, I did.
If you did that at any point, bad things happened to him last year. He didn't play. He had ulcerative colitis.
Okay. I've seen commercials about medicine that helps that, and the side effects of the medicine sound awful.
Fevers, fatigue, and lost weight.
Yeah.
He was down under 160 pounds at one point. Couldn't play football with the Raiders, making a comeback this year for the Carolina Panthers after the trade. Good luck to Hunter Renfrow. Hope he's able to make a comeback. Always showed up in the big games for the Clemson Tigers.
Really good a couple of years ago from the Raiders. So I think if he's 100% healthy, he's probably going to be a nice pickup.
Yeah, so good luck to Hunter on his way back in his comeback year with the Carolina Panthers now. One of the new weapons for Bryce Young, the former Alabama quarterback there. That's our show today. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Programming the rest of the day, don't forget 12:15. We've got the Pennant Grace coming up live in about 14 minutes. 2 o'clock, we've got the Meltdown coming up with Melton and Tyler. And then this afternoon, 5 o'clock, we'll be at Buffalo Wild Wings, Pell City, getting ready for a big weekend coming up very soon. All that coming up. Set your alerts, get live programming and recorded programming all the time right here on The Next Round. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.